you know, a position so irrational it won't even be able to ground things like logic or ethics or
All right, hold
grounding.
on. We don't want to let the dogs early. All right, so with our guests ready and we have enough people in the audience, that's fine.
Oh
We
wait,
can now
sorry, wait.
commence.
Can I get like an invite link? I needed to my admin isn't in the server. I need to invite her, but for some reason oh, okay, wait, actually. Oh no.
I could
No.
DM you a link
Okay,
if you
yeah.
want.
No, she didn't get in. That's fine.
You want me to DM you a link to the server?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yep. Got it.
All right. So we're going to be having Ian versus RaSol, 5-minute openings, 50-minute open conversation. This can extend to at least 30 minutes, so long as you two want. If you guys want to cut it shorter, that's fine. It doesn't need to take 50 minutes. You're not going to drag a conversation if it's not needed. If you want to extend it, it doesn't have to be an additional 30 minutes. It could be maybe just 10 minutes, but it's scheduled for 50 minutes. I'm presuming RaSol both wants to go first, and given, you know, he's going to render an argument, I think it's just fitting that he starts with the opening.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Sounds fine. Yes.
What about you, RaSol? That work with you?
Yeah, that works.
Also,
just
sorry
let me
about my
get on
voice.
my.
I'm like mad sick.
I was wondering.
Get all
on
my
with
shit
your what?
together. Let me just organize myself real quick. Give me like 30 seconds. Hold on.
Okay.
He contains multitudes.
He's a busy man. You know, people who ground their logic have high positions and thereby a lot of work.
Yeah. It's quite rigorous to ground logic. You know, this dude has been toiling away to disintegrate Agrippa's trilemma.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I bet. Yeah, you could start the 5 minutes. Hold on, let me pull up stopwatch. You can let me know when you're ready.
Let's see. Yeah, so I'll start right away. I probably won't take the full 5 minutes because I want to have my argument unfold as we have a conversation. But I am gonna propose a syllogism, not a syllogism, but an argument with premises and everything. And then part of my opening will be giving descriptions or defining terms, so we can have a better, productive conversation. All right, so I'll start with the argument, right? P1 will be real knowledge requires justification that actually connects beliefs to reality. P2, if the justification fails, the knowledge claim fails with it. P3, every non-theistic worldview is stuck with purely internal, finite, autonomous justification. No outside foundation allowed. P4, that kind of justification is exactly what Agrippa's trilemma destroys. P5, the trilemma leaves you with regress, circularity, or brute facts, none of which successfully ground correspondence to reality. To the conclusion, therefore, non-theistic worldviews cannot account for knowledge. So this is going to be the actual argument that I'm running. And obviously, I suspect that Ian's going to push back on my worldview, which I'll be ready to defend. Some of the terms that I am going to want to define before we start so we can have a productive conversation will be first, knowledge, right? Knowledge, the way that I'm using it is justified true belief that is not defeated by Gator style luck or epistemic luck. So like something that corresponds to reality, right? So it's justified true belief. Another thing that I'm gonna use within my argumentation would be conceptual schemas. This is something that I'm going to use to make sure that I'm not begging the question within the worldview, the theistic worldview, right? I'm not going to define God into existence. I'm just going to give an outline of what the theistic conceptual schema is and how it actually overcomes or sidesteps the trilemma. Another term that is important for this. So the way that I'm using conceptual schema would be, a foundational framework or model of reality that includes core commitments about what ultimately exists and how justification works. Another term that's going to be essential for this argument will be bootstrapping, because that's why I expect Ian to provide some kind of bootstrapping argumentation as how he can ground knowledge. So bootstrapping, the way I'm defining it, is attempting to justify a system reliability by using the very faculties or tools whose reliability is in question. Another thing that I'm going to use is truth, right? The way that I'm using truth is just something that corresponds to reality. And then obviously you guys know what explanatory power is. And these are some of the terms that I'm going to use. Another thing that I do want to outline would be natural entailments. So this is something that I'm going to press heavily on. So when I invoke natural entailments, is what logically and necessarily follows from the core commitments of a schema. Like prior, when I run this argument, they also ask me what justification and what it means, right? Justification, it would just be the reasons of grounding to turn a true belief into knowledge. And then another core definition that we need to put out there would autonomous.
You have 1 minute.
Internal justification. So, yeah, that's justification that must ultimately come from within the finite contingent natural order with no appeal to a necessary transcendent ground outside the system. And with that, I will finish my opener and just excitedly wait for the debate. Ian, you can go next.
Okay. Where to start? It's really going to be hard to overcome this, given I don't even think premise 3 was a complete sentence, let alone a well-formed premise. But I think that there's typically going to be two problems with this. I think the first one is that literally the entire critique is going to apply equally to God, and also, I don't think that the presup is going to be able to get out of this without just presupposing directly that God isn't lying to them. So I'm going to be mad curious for the justification about how God overcomes Agrippa's trilemma. How does God know that he's all-knowing? Well, surely he's not going to be appealing to the fact that he is all-knowing, because that would lead to the bootstrapping problem. So I think like the main strategy here is that we're going to collapse God into a brain in a vat. We're going to put him into the cuck chair. We're going to humiliate him. At the end of this, he's going to release new revelation that says, "Help, I've been vatted." I think the other one is that the presup just actually has no justification for thinking that they themselves are not getting lied to by God. That one of two things is going to be true. Like either he's gonna appeal to the fact that God would never lie to him, and I'll ask, well, okay, well, how do you know that? And he'll just have to kind of stipulate it, or I forgot what the other option is, but I don't know. Let's just get into the open dialogue.
All right, I just want to clarify.
Oh wait, sorry, I actually had more. Fuck. RaSol wants to argue for divine conceptualism. That's going to fail for a number of reasons. Every single thing. What divine conceptualism argues is that all of these truths are thoughts in the mind of God, but that's an untenable position for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that God is all beautiful, but there are some really ugly truths, like the truth that presuppositionalist Mars exists. That's a really ugly truth, which means that there are thoughts in God's mind that are quite ugly. So that's untenable. Another thing is that there are going to be truths that are not all good. For example, the truth that presuppositionalist Mars exists, that's going to be quite an evil truth. There are truths that are painfully cruel, like the truth that presuppositionalist Mars exists. I think that's going to be pretty brutal too. I'm not sure how we're going to account for the fact that there's this cruelty, this ugliness, and this evilness within the mind of God Himself. But yeah, that's all.
Okay. Yeah, I want to just clarify. There's not going to be heavy moderation. I presume that's fine anyways. So we're just going to let the two of you at it. I'll step in if needed. Hopefully we don't need a. But yeah, y'all can start now.
Yeah, I was
so
hoping for some, maybe like an explanation.
Actually,
like, oh,
yeah.
gosh. Yeah, I'm sorry. We need to stick on to your script. That's right.
Yeah. Please, can you engage with the syllogism that I gave?
It's not
I want to know how you escape, how you ground knowledge. Give me the argument for that.
Do you want me to engage with the question, or do you want me to engage with the syllogism? Because these are separate
Well,
things.
the conclusion is saying that you don't have justification
Okay.
for knowledge claims.
Do you want me to address the syllogism, or do you want me to address the question?
Presumably, you do have justification to ground knowledge. So I just want you to give that.
I don't really think I'm not
rebuttal.
convinced that that's quite an answer to the question. So, what question do you want me to answer?
I thought it was pretty clear. The conclusion is saying that your worldview falls victim to Agrippa's trilemma, right?
I can read
anytime
it.
Yeah. Anytime that you make a knowledge claim, it's going to fail, right? And you seem to make a lot of knowledge claims, so I want you to justify it with those knowledge
Sure.
claims.
Do you just want me to go ahead and justify like a single knowledge claim?
No, I need you to refute or answer the argument that I gave.
So you do want me to address the syllogism, or you want me to give an argument that demonstrates how I can have knowledge? Like, I don't know how the fuck we're struggling at this stage in the conversation. I just want to know, is there a question you want me to answer? Do you want me to give a critique of the syllogism? Like, what do you want me to do?
I need you to justify your knowledge claim. That's what I need you to do.
So, okay, do you want me to give an example of knowledge?
Stop getting all like
He's
rhetorical this early in the conversation.
Dude. He can't even form like a clear question or a complete sentence, and he's already getting rhetorical. Why would you do that to yourself?
Okay, if you're gonna continue this in this manner, like, I'm just gonna take the concession that you can't refute the argument that I presented, right?
It's a funny way of saying that you're gonna run the fuck away.
Okay. Are you gonna respond, or are you gonna just sit here
sure.
and
So
laugh
I'll give an
like a little
example
bitch?
of a justification. There's going to be, I accept foundationalism, and I accept foundationalism on the basis that there's certain beliefs wherein it's self-falsifying or self-stultifying to hold to. So for example, the belief that beliefs don't exist is self-falsifying. In order to believe that beliefs don't exist, you yourself are committed to the existence of beliefs. So insofar as there's like certain beliefs of that sort, these are going to be self-justifying because the opposite of them is self-falsifying.
Hold on. Did you understand the actual argument? So one of the core things that I'm going to bring up, anytime that you try to make like this kind of a move, right, where you're like, I have this view that does justify, this is going to move into the whole bootstrapping thing, right? The very thing in question is what you're going to invoke to try to make like a claim that you have knowledge, right? Your sensory data, your ability to track.
I don't think I appealed to sensory data just now.
Okay, so how would you be able to provide a worldview? Can you
summarize back to me the example that I put forward and explain to me how I'm not justified in believing it?
No, because I'm asking you, like, the very.
Oh gosh, you didn't even listen.
The very question. Hold on. The very question, and the very question on the table is, how do you know that the worldview that you're proposing is true?
Yeah. So which worldview is that?
Whatever worldview you wanna bring forth. Like, how do you know that the one
that
worldview
has quite a few propositions that I believe? Like, I think you're going to need to be a bit more specific.
Out of the many possible worldviews that are out there, how do you know that the one that you're gonna like appeal to is the true worldview? How do you know that your worldview is the one correct one?
The impossibility of the contrary.
That's part of the. You're just invoking.
How do you justify knowledge on your worldview?
You're just making like a arbitrary, like brute statement without any proper justification.
No, the justification.
So you're getting bent over and fucked right now, right?
There's no
Like-
fucking way you think this is a good
Hold on.
look. After the debate
How did you-
performance, what a bold rhetorical posture. That shit's
you-
crazy. Oh my god,
How did
dude,
you
stumbling
conclude-
through his words, unable
How
to
do you
even give
know-
clear answers
how
to
do
like
you
the
know-
most simple clarifying
Hold on.
questions in the world.
Oh,
And
yeah,
now
this
he's
is
going
gonna
to
be
get
tactic, right?
rhetorical.
Overtalk me
He's
because you're
stumbling
gonna
through
get
his insults too.
be
Holy
completely
shit.
destroyed, right? You're gonna be embarrassed,
He's,
right? So this is gonna be your
coming
tactic.
forward.
So when you say
stuck
something
it in your
like-
ass.
So when you say
What
something,
the fuck?
the contrary is impossible. Are you making a knowledge claim that the contrary is
Yeah.
impossible? Are you making a knowledge claim?
Yes, indeed.
What gives you the authority to make that knowledge claim?
Yeah, insofar as the contrary is impossible.
The contrary. You just repeated the
I
fucking
don't
claim,
think
you
you want to
dumbass.
track stutters.
You repeated the
I don't
actual.
think that game's gonna
I
go
asked
well
you
for
for the
you. That's like the last thing you want to
of the
do.
claim.
To be clear.
I
So how
asked
do
you for the
justify
justification of the
knowledge in your
claim.
worldview?
Hold on. No, I'm not
Oh
gonna
god,
repeat it,
dude,
you little
he's
bitch,
like
right?
panicking.
I'm gonna hold your
He's
feet to the
genuinely,
fire,
like, fucking
right?
crying.
I asked you. You made a
Oh
knowledge
my
claim, right?
God.
You said the
Yeah.
impossibility of the contrary.
Yeah.
And then I asked you, how do you know that claim is true? And then you repeated the very same
go through all the
claim,
contrary
right?
positions and
This
we
is a
falsify
circular
them.
reasoning, you idiot.
No, it
right?
not That doesn't
Yes, it
follow.
is. It's
a
actually
disjunctive
bootstrapping, you
syllogism.
dumbass.
Oh god, he's so
You're
slow.
actually presupposing
Oh,
the very thing in
no.
question, right? So
And
this is
sorry,
the
what is that?
definition of
What is the thing
bootstrapping.
that's getting
And this is
presupposed?
why I made
Sorry, what is that? What's
these.
the
This is why I
thing getting
defined the terms,
presupposed?
because I knew that you were going to
What's
make
the
this
thing
move,
getting
right?
presupposed? Go ahead.
Yeah. I asked you to justify the claim that you made, that it's the
But what's
impossibility of
the
the
thing
contrary.
that's getting
I asked you to
presupposed?
justify
Is
that
the-
knowledge
Oh gosh, he literally can't even listen to the question.
No, I'm pointing
What
out-
is the
I'm
thing that's
pointing
getting
out how
presupposed? Like,
dumb
what's
you are,
the
right?
specific proposition?
You're giving a circular response to the
You-
question
in
that
order
I
to
asked.
presuppose something, that thing would be like a belief or a proposition. So what's the
Okay,
belief or proposition?
Just so everybody
that I'm
understands what's going on, right?
presupposing?
I asked Ian, okay, you made a claim
He's not going to
that
answer that
something
question.
is true, right? He said it's true because it's the impossibility of the contrary, right? And I asked him, okay, how do you know that statement that you just made is
yeah,
true?
because we go through the other
And then
worldviews and
he
we falsify them.
repeated
There are
the
contradictions
claim
in
and
each
said,
of them.
it's the impossibility of the contrary. This
Yeah,
guy
there's
is
gonna
a
be
low
different
tier.
defeaters for different
right?
worldviews.
This guy's a
is
low
like
tier.
trivial.
He has hundreds of people watching me every day, and I'm exposing how fucking stupid he is.
I'm sure
He's
everybody
giving a
in the
circular
YouTube comment
reason.
section is going to disagree
He's
with
giving-
this in the future.
He's giving
They're
a
going to
circular
think that I really
response
got the
to the
fuck beaten out
question.
of me. You know, I feel
Which
exposed. I feel
he's
face
actually
down, ass up right now against the
bootstrapping
rhetorical titan
the
that
very
is
thing in
RaSol.
question, right?
Dude, he's literally just never
So-
going to clarify the questions that he's even asking.
I'm
It
gonna
kinda
be
sounds like
good
he doesn't
faith,
know what
right?
he's asking
I'm
either.
gonna be good faith.
Yeah, I
We're
can
gonna
tell
move
you've
on
been very
from-
good faith this time so far.
I'll take this
So
this
wait,
little
can I-
victory right
can I
now
just ask you like a
that
quick
he
question?
wasn't
I
able
just
to
want a
defend his
quick answer
worldview.
to the quick
He's
question. How do you
crashing out
know?
because he's fucked right now, right?
Oh,
But we're gonna allow
gosh.
the conversation to move
Rhetorical
on
fucking
because
titan.
I have other things
How
that
do
I want
you
to talk
know
about.
that God isn't lying to you?
Yeah. So before we move back, you can see that
uh,
you weren't able to answer.
Yeah,
I'll
how
answer.
do you
I'll
know
answer.
God isn't
Can
lying
you
to you?
cons-
Go ahead.
I will answer, but can you first concede that you got bent over just right now?
No.
Okay. So if you
So
didn't,
how do
if
you
you don't
know
want to
God
concede
isn't
that,
lying
then
to you?
hold on. If you don't want to concede, then go back and answer the question that I asked.
You literally won't even clarify your question.
I gave you. I asked you. I asked you a question. You know what it was. You're
I
just
asked you. I asked
bad
you. You
faith right now,
start
right?
circling. Literally
Dude,
getting
this
beat
is a
the
bad
fuck
look.
down every
This is a
time you
bad
fuck
look,
the
bro.
fuck up. I don't know
You
why
just gave
you
a
would challenge
circular
me to a
response.
debate. You're just going to get
I
fucking
asked you.
stomped on rhetoric,
Bro,
stomped on
this is
substance,
embarrassing.
posted to YouTube.
This is embarrassing,
It's literally
right?
going to be
I
a thing
asked
that
you,
follows you
how do you
around like
know
all the rest of
that
the
the
debates.
impossibility of the
You know,
contrary
you get blown the
is
fuck
true?
out. Yeah, different
And you're
defeaters
just
for different
repeating
worldviews.
the very claim.
Do you want me to go
Right?
through all
But
the
you're not
worldviews
conceding
and give
that
the
it's a
defeater for them?
circular
Is that what
response.
you want?
So if you don't think that it is a circular
You want me to go
response,
through all
then
the
give a better
worldviews and
response.
give the defeater for them?
Why would I need? No, I need you to answer the question.
Well,
How
that
do
would
you
be the
know that
justification
it's
for
the impossibility of the contrary?
proposition. Yeah, by going through all the other worldviews and falsifying them.
Falsifiability needs to have some kind of you would have to have some kind of
and that's just what my
reliable-
rhetorical dick does when
you
it's
would
in
have to-
people's mouth. They can't even pronounce words anymore.
you would have to have a reliable sense data to be able to falsify other views.
Yeah,
So-
no, I
so
believe
again,
in
you're
the wave function
bootstrapping.
that gives rise to reliable
you're
sense
just-
data. That's my
How
worldview.
do you
The
know-
wave function
how do you know that's
that
true?
gives
How do you know
rise
that's
to
true?
reliable sense data. I
How
could
do you
give
know
you the
that's true?
argument from entanglement, but I kind of feel like I would
No.
be
I need
casting
you to.
pearls
How do you
before
know that's
swine,
true, though?
so to say.
How do you know that's true? Like, no,
Which
you're
part of that?
presupposing the very thing in question.
Yeah, which part of that do you want me
I
to
need-
justify?
I thought you were going to be better interlocutor. I didn't know you were going to be this
part
low
of that
tier,
do you want
right?
me to justify?
I need to justify what gives you the authoritative power to make truth claims. That's what I want to do.
You know, that's just
Yeah,
what
go ahead.
happens when you have my rhetorical hog in your mouth. You start pronouncing
Oh my
words like
gosh.
authorita.
This is a
Did you
crash
say
out.
no,
Like I did not expect. I didn't expect this crash out.
Scathing.
Holy shit! I didn't expect this level of crash out. Like this guy's low tier. This
Yeah.
guy's a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
He has nothing.
I'm sure the entire
I just
audience is going to
exposed
come
him
away with the
for the
impression
fucking
that
low
I'm
tier
the one
that he
that's
is.
crashing out.
Like he's literally just given circular reasoning. He has nothing,
Yeah.
and he won't concede because he's such a fucking dumbass.
I do like the implicit admission that tag is circular, that saying impossibility of the contrary is circular. I do
That's
like
not my
that
argument, you
concession.
dumb fuck. That's not
Do you
my
not
argument.
think that
You fucking
is it
idiot.
your argument literally that these other worldviews aren't going to be
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to justify it? What's the
Try to
justification that the
pivot.
other
Try to
worldviews won't be
pivot.
able to do it? It's
Try
literally
to
your
pivot because you're getting
syllogism.
fucked.
Justify
Try
your
to pivot because
syllogism.
you're getting fucked. Yeah, try
Oh
to pivot
no!
because you're getting
Gosh,
fucked.
he thinks that it's a pivot to ask for justification for the syllogism.
No,
that
no,
put
you didn't
forward.
concede.
That's the
You
level
didn't
of like
concede.
stupidity that we're engaging
You didn't
with. Is that this guy
concede
thinks
that your response
what's the
was
justification
like circular,
that
right?
all the other
Now
worldviews can't
you're
ground
strawmanning my
epistemology?
worldview.
Whoa,
I
he's
haven't even
literally
given my worldview,
throwing.
right?
He's
I haven't given
running
you
the
my
fuck
worldview.
away. That's like really sad.
This is like
Oh
monumental
gosh,
crash out,
this
bro.
is like
This is I
honestly like kind of
expected better.
boring.
I
I was
expected
just thinking
better.
that maybe he would engage in like a
Oh my
question, or maybe
goodness.
he'd be
Oh my
intelligent enough to
goodness.
like clarify a question.
I expected better. I thought we were gonna
Me
move
too.
from the very
Me
first
too.
premise. Like you're
I
a
think that
fucking
it's
idiot.
kind of
Like you can't
miraculous
ground
that
knowledge.
RaSol is
You're just
incapable
making a
of like
circular
not only
response.
I don't know,
But if you don't
like
want to
sitting down to like
concede, I'll
read
just take the
philosophy every
W that
now
you're
and
a
then,
fucking
but
idiot
even
and
like
you
getting
can't
better,
do anything
right?
about
Like
it,
he's
right?
just as bad. He might even be a
The
little bit
fact that
worse
you
from the
felt
last time that I debated
like
him.
strawmanning,
Like I
the
don't
fact
know.
that you felt like
It's kinda
strawmanning my
sad.
actual
It's like kind of a
worldview
sad
when I haven't even
reflection.
presented my worldview
You know, I'm
as
in
to
my
why the
chambers
theistic
listening to
worldview
Bach
has explanatory
23
power,
hours a
right?
day, you
This
know,
is just
listening to both
embarrassing.
Mandarin
Right
and
I cannot
Arabic at the
understand
exact
how
same
people follow
time,
you.
you
You're a
know,
fucking low tier.
becoming
Like
like
your
a high
response
IQ
was like so
genius.
circular,
Meanwhile,
right?
this dude is
I
toiling
asked you.
and
I
not
asked you. Hey
developing
Ian,
any of
how
his
do you
ideas.
justify the knowledge claim that you just made? And then you just repeated the claim. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what
what's
to
the
do with this.
proposition that you want justified?
This is low tier.
Yeah, what's
my
the
gosh.
proposition you want justified?
Monkeyboy, I don't think this is gonna move much, bro. This guy's a little bit too low
I would
tier
run
for
the
me. I
fuck
need
away
something
too.
better.
That's fair enough.
I need
can't
somebody
blame him for
better.
running.
Can
Yeah.
you get V up here maybe? Because Ian's like a fucking idiot. I was gonna use something that I'm not supposed to, but yeah, you're horrible, bud.
Yeah,
you strawman my argument. I haven't even given the justification as to why the
I
God
grant that.
worldview has explanatory power, right? So you made some kind of remark that my worldview is
Do you want to
circular.
go ahead and
or,
give the justification that all other worldviews aren't going to be able to justify it?
No, I'm saying that all
Of course, yeah, he doesn't want to
atheistic
justify
worldviews,
the premise. Yeah,
all atheistic
yeah. What's the
worldviews
justification
fall
for that?
onto the Agrippa's trilemma.
Yeah, what's the justification for that?
It's just a natural entailment of the worldview and how.
Oh fuck, that's right. It's just a natural entailment. Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah, the way we define atheism or
I
non-God
hadn't
worldview,
considered.
it would be an autonomous worldview, right? Where all justification is done through the individual himself. He has no external aid, and if he claims to have external aid, that's just something that he's gonna presuppose.
How do you get
He's not
external
gonna have
aid
any
from God?
justification
Like in what form does your aid from God come in?
Concede, and then we can move to my worldview.
Oh no, dude, he's running. He's literally sprinting.
Ooh.
God damn,
Concede.
he's not going to answer these questions.
Concede
Why
that
would I
you couldn't
concede?
overcome.
You can't even clarify your questions.
You couldn't justify
you couldn't
your knowledge claim.
stop choking on my rhetorical dick, dude. He's still doing it.
This
He's
is a bad look, man. Because I'm not even
crashing on
crashing
my
out.
hog.
I'm being
He's
good
not able
faith,
to actually engage.
and you're just
That's the
crashing out
funniest thing
because
you've
you
said so
can't.
far.
You
That is
cannot
the single
respond in
funniest
good
thing that
faith.
you've said so far.
You're giving circular reasoning. I'm pointing out that
you
the atheistic
got
worldview
fucked.
cannot ground knowledge. It's a terrible look, Ian. I'm glad this is going to be on YouTube. People can see you for the intellectual, pseudo intellectual you
I'm
are.
also glad that it's
you're
going to
an
be on
idiot.
YouTube.
You're terrible. You're crashing out because you can't respond. I caught you. I caught you, and you're fucked.
You can't
you're
even
panicking.
express what I can't respond to.
You're panicking, right? You're in full panic right
definitely. It sounds like it. You know, you can hear the quiver in my voice, not yours.
So I'm going to give you two options. You either give a response that's not circular, or we can just end this
What's
debate.
What's the thing that you want a response to?
I'm not gonna. You already know what I'm asking.
I don't.
I'm not gonna let you know.
It sounds like you don't know it either.
Yes. I asked you, how do you know that the claim that you made of the possibility of the contrary is a true claim?
Yeah, we would go through each worldview, and then we would deduce that they're all false by demonstrating contradictions in each of them.
How do you know that you're able to have reliable senses to do that?
I don't think that you need reliable senses to do that. You could do that all a priori.
Oh my gosh, this is painful. Holy shit. You don't need reliable senses
I don't think you necessarily need reliable sense data to rule out the possibility of specific worldviews. Yeah, so for example, like let's say that somebody had the worldview that like beliefs don't exist. Well, we would be able to rule out the worldview that beliefs don't exist insofar as they would be believing that beliefs don't exist, which is a contradiction. Or if somebody wanted to reject, for example, the law of non-contradiction, we would be able to reject this worldview because they have this thought in their head that specifically contradictions are possible. But of course, you know, in order to have a thought, you need to have specific identity to the thing that's being thought about. But specific identity requires exclusion, and exclusion necessitates the law of non-contradiction. So we can go through a priori and then demonstrate the falsity of a variety of worldviews.
No, this fails before we even go there. This is going to fail, right? Because you're going to have to like justify the claim that we have some kind of access to the external world. Because I can grant you that you have some kind of coherent system within your mind or whatever, right? But it doesn't mean that because this is coherent within your own mental framework, it actually aligns with reality. Like you can have a worldview that seems coherent and it seems to make sense to you, but it doesn't necessitate that it is true.
Yeah. Oh, if you want like a justification for like sense data, sure. Premise one, all of our beliefs, the things that are reasonable candidates for being justification, are going to be based on appearances. A belief is doxastically justified only if what it is based upon constitutes an adequate source of propositional justification. So if appearances are not a source of propositional justification, then all of our beliefs are doxastically unjustified, including the belief that appearances are not a source of justification. So it's self-defeating to deny that appearances are a source of justification. It appears that my sense data is reliable. Therefore, I'm justified in believing it.
Hold on. Okay, let's start over again. Start over and give me premise one with the slower tone so I can.
All of our beliefs that are reasonable candidates for being justified are going to be based on appearances.
Reasonable. How do you deduce if something is reasonable?
Yeah, based on whether or not there's going to be like a contradiction in it, or whether or not it has any sort of relation to the facts that it's taking a propositional attitude about.
Hold on, don't fuck. Do you think that because something that doesn't have a contradiction?
Holy shit, dude! He couldn't even track that. That's brutal.
Don't fuck. Hold on. So you think because something doesn't have a contradiction, it's actually like truth tracking?
No, I'm saying that a contradiction is how you would rule out something from being a reasonable candidate. That there's a couple of things that rule out something from being a reasonable candidate. It's going to be things like
I don't think you're tracking. I don't think you're engaging
facts.
with the actual conversation.
Oh,
because the very thing I said, hey,
you can have a view back to me, or were you not
hold on. No, this is important right here. This is important right here because you weren't even tracking what I asked, right? I have made the claim that
you justify.
You can have a view. Hold on. You can have a view that seems reasonable, that seems coherent, that seems to be justified, right? It doesn't necessitate that it aligns with reality.
That's not my claim. My claim is that it gives a justification.
Okay. You literally said that the justification would be that it's reasonable and it doesn't have a contradiction.
I think you're super not tracking. I think that there's like three different.
No, that was the first premise. That was the first premise you gave. This was the first premise you gave.
My first premise was that all of our beliefs are reasonable.
No, hold on.
What's your understanding of the first premise?
I asked you. You said we went slowly on this, right?
Yeah. What is it?
You said that if something's reasonable, and I asked you what makes something reasonable, and you said that it has no contradictions, right? And I granted that something
there's like a couple of things that would make it reasonable.
Something can be reasonable to the agent, but it doesn't align to reality. So that's
I agree, but
that's not engaging with the actual argument that I'm running.
You just pivoted from
I can grant
epistemology
the fact that
to
you think
absolute certainty and like your
I can grant that you have some kind of like arbitrary belief system that makes perfect sense in your delusional mind, right?
But it doesn't whether or not it's necessitate whether or not it grants.
But it doesn't. No. But justification doesn't come about unless you escape Agrippa's trilemma, which you're actually running into Agrippa's trilemma and just presupposing the very thing in question. So I just fucked you again.
There's no way you thought that you
Yes,
did well.
there is way.
Wait,
There
can you
is way.
repeat
There
back
is
to me
way.
what the first
Yes.
premise was? What was
Yes,
the first premise?
because I
Go ahead.
granted you that you can believe
Wait, if
you
you
can
fucked
believe
me,
that
if you
something's
fucked me,
coherent.
if you
You
fucked
can
me, then
believe
what's the
that
first
something is
premise?
reasonable,
This guy didn't
right?
even listen
But
to
it
the
doesn't
first premise.
necessitate
That's how
that it
badly you
aligns
got
with
blown the
reality,
fuck out. Every
right?
single time you try to pivot
So
to
I'm
rhetoric, it's
granting
just
all
going to
this
look
to you,
really
right?
bad for you
I'm
after
granting
you
you all
like
this, right?
confusedly
But
stumble
the
through the
fact that you
argument,
can't
unable to actually
bridge
produce like any sort of
your
critique against it,
conceptual
and
schema
then you
to
try to
reality,
grandstand and like beat on
that's
your
where it
chest and say,
fails.
I win,
So I'm
as if
gonna
you didn't
ask
just
you
get
once
completely
again,
bent the fuck over.
what bridges your mental state to reality? Go ahead.
Justification.
Oh shit. Monkeyboy, I can't. I didn't know this guy was like a fucking little tier like this. I thought he
That's
was a
like
little bit
obviously
better.
true, by the way. That's like true if you like
Monkeyboy,
stop and think about it for like
Monkeyboy,
a single second.
Monkeyboy.
That's quite literally
I
what justification
Agrippa's
means, by the way.
trilemma.
Justification, what it's supposed
I
to
gave
be
you
is
a
something that
reductio as
links
to
your
why your
belief states
justification isn't
to
valid.
reality. Like that's like
I
obviously
gave you a
true. I don't know why
reductio as
that
to
would
why your
ever be the thing that
justification
you
isn't
take
valid,
issue
right?
with. That's like
I'm
obviously
actually pushing
true.
back on what you're calling justification. I'm saying you're
You
presupposing.
don't even
You're
remember your own
bootstrapping your very
question.
approach.
He
You're
literally forgot his
bootstrapping.
own question. He doesn't even remember.
You're actually presupposing the very thing in
He
question,
sounds like
right?
he's on the verge of
It's
tears. I
just
kind of feel
terrible.
bad.
No, your rhetoric game is terrible. It's low tier, just
Quite
as
good.
your
It's
philosophical
working
understanding
so
is
well
low
that you
tier.
literally have to talk about that
Both
because you
of them,
can't talk about
are
the
bad.
substance. You keep getting beat the fuck down on the
Your
substance.
philosophical understanding is low tier, and your rhetoric is low tier.
Mm.
I don't know what I'm doing here. Like you're getting blown out right now.
Well, certainly what you're not doing here is answering a single question.
Because you haven't conceded. If you concede, I'll be happy to defend my worldview.
What's there to concede on? You can't give a critique of my argument.
I gave you. You weren't able to justify how
At first
your
he was
mental
gonna
state
say,
would have.
I gave a critique, and then he remembered that he actually didn't give a critique, so he was like, "You weren't able to justify it." Yeah. Wait.
How
Sorry,
your
which
mental
premise do you
state.
reject? Which premise
You
do you
weren't able to
reject?
justify. You weren't able to justify as to why I would believe that your mental states would align with reality, even if you think they're reasonable.
So what was your
even if you think they're
refutation of
coherent,
the argument?
even if you think they have no contradiction, it
What
doesn't
was the-
necessitate
wait,
that
sorry, so which
because those
premise of the
things
argument did you
are
reject?
granted.
Which
Just
premise
even
of
if I
the
grant those
argument
things, right? It
did
doesn't
you
mean that
reject?
your worldview is
Which
true. That
premise
right?
of the argument do you reject?
You're just giving circular. I'm rejecting the circularity of your response.
Which premise?
I rejected premise one. Remember?
You reject that all of our beliefs that are reasonable candidates for justification are based on appearances. Does that appear to be false?
No. I asked
Are you saying that the first premise
what
appears to be
accounts-
false?
I
You
asked
reject
you,
it?
What accounts?
Are you rejecting it because it appears
what
to
makes
be
something
false?
reasonable, right? I
He
asked you
fucking
what
bought in. He
accounts
bought
for the
the- he
reasonability of something.
Got fucking
Oh my gosh, this is
spawned by the
embarrassing.
self-defeat argument.
This is embarrassing, dude. This is embarrassing. Like, I fucking won. Like, and I wasn't even prepared to like. I didn't this early on the conversation. I didn't know I was going to win this easily.
It doesn't even sound like he thinks.
I didn't think I was going to win this easily. I thought it was going to be a little more of a pushback, right?
I won.
This is crazy. This is an easy
agree,
W. Holy
Why
shit!
would you do that? Oh, I don't know about that, but
My
it is
goodness,
crazy.
bro. So I guess gentlemen, no,
it turns out
my
that if you give him any argument at all, you just
cannot
spawn
ground
kill him.
his knowledge claim. And when I asked him
for a
to
justification,
do it,
not grounding.
He's giving.
You literally can't even track the argument. You know, you asked for like epistemic justifications, not metaphysical grounding.
Hold on. No, the beginning of my argument, my opener said that justification leads into grounding. You low tier. No.
Did you forget
my opening statement? Actually, this is why I went over the.
This is why. Remember properly the state of the conversation.
This is why.
The fact that
I
you
defined
misremembered what you asked for.
This is why I defined terms at the very beginning, right?
Where our senses
this is why I defined terms at the very beginning,
really
because I knew
that
you're going to make this weekly move, right?
Perfect, that you would misremember
when I invoke
30 minutes of
justification, it's invoking grounding, right? So it's not two separate terms, right? Both are interlocked. They both have to make sense. When you claim justification, hold on. When you claim justification, that justification needs some kind of grounding that validates it.
Metaphysical,
right? You cannot separate the two. You cannot claim that something is justified and then skip the grounding part of the justification. Because if you do, it's going to fall into Agrippa's trilemma, right? Which you've shown that you cannot escape.
It's metaphysical, or do you think it's epistemic?
What was the question?
Do you think grounding is epistemic, or do you think grounding is metaphysical?
Grounding, I think we would use on this argumentation that I'm using, because I'm invoking some kind of conceptual schema. I would invoke some kind of metaphysical.
You didn't ask me about my metaphysics.
Well, I'm invoking. I was going to try to get
then you
into
just
more
remember the conversation.
Schema.
Well,
Hold on,
if you agree that grounding is metaphysical, then you literally just forgot the questions that you asked. You asked for epistemic justification.
You asked me a question. Let me respond.
How I know my sense data is reliable.
It's just a
critical failure on your part, I suppose.
It's a worldview comparison, right?
Okay.
That's all I'm doing. So, like, the natural entailment of your worldview
that he
just invoke the fact that I didn't.
That makes God feel remorse.
You lost. You gave a circular response to every single question that I gave. And it's just like embarrassing that
didn't happen.
Like I prepared so much, just to be disappointed with like low tier.
You've said. I'm actually kind of sad that you said that. I might cry a little
low tier
bit.
atheist.
I'm gonna let out a tear, a single tear. You prepared a lot for this.
I prepared. I had a whole argument set up, but the fact that you can't concede that you gave a circular reasoning. It's just sad. It's disappointing.
A URL that you
I'm actually gonna cry tonight because
I might get a lot of use out of plato.stanford.edu. It's called the Stanford Encyclopedia.
I'm actually gonna cry tonight because I expect
it's really
a little bit more from you.
For introductory philosophy topics.
But you know what?
You're getting
the
into
fact
a new
that I was able to crush you,
it's like a wonderful resource.
Gives me hope
like a second,
that I'm able to run this argument
that I think is like slightly worse than the SUP, but it's also like pretty good. Is the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy? It's iep.utm.edu.
And they will give like circular reasoning, and they won't escape the trilemma.
Bootstrapping.
They'll try to
Maybe it might have
pivot,
gone
and they'll try to like say some crazy shit, like strawman my worldview, which I still haven't given, right?
For you.
But somehow he thinks my worldview is like circular, which I haven't even like proposed my worldview. This is utter embarrassing. It's just disappointing. I prepared so much for this, and I expect a little bit better.
Okay. Can I ask what you did for preparation?
I prepared like a victory speech after I fucked you over.
That can't be true. Please tell me that you're joking.
Because my argument is so powerful that no atheist has been able to escape the entailment of what this argument.
Your argument is literally invalid. What inference rule does the argument follow?
No, it's not invalid. It's not invalid.
Yeah. So what inference rule does it follow?
It's kind of giving a deductive argumentation as to why.
Under what inference rule?
I don't think I can prescribe an inference rule to this right now. I would just say that it's the deductive argument that
if you want, you can take a second and you can put it into like symbols, like
let's say
knowledge requires justification, so that's going to be like
let's say that
A implies B.
The fact that you weren't able to escape a Gerber's trilemma is just a concession, right?
The inference rule is
a concession.
Together. So
hold on, but this is just a desperate
one. Real knowledge
requires
right? Justification that connects belief to reality. So okay, we're
going
to say that's going to be
salvage very little let's
do R implies
your aura,
J
Dude,
for the first premise, and then 2 if the justification fails. So if not J,
so I'm just gonna mute up, guys. When Ian is ready to give a refutation as to or like
justification fails, then the knowledge claim
give me a
fails.
justification as how he knows that something is true. I'll wait patiently.
If not J,
I'll mute up.
Not R,
and as soon as he's able to like give that,
and then the third one isn't even a complete sentence, so it's going to be.
I'll be able to like.
Maybe we'll.
So I'll mute up, guys. I'll just wait.
We'll come back to it later.
I'll wait and see if
when he wants
Ian
to give a complete sentence for the third premise.
Has the ability to.
And then we'll
give justification for that knowledge claim that he made.
Justification gets destroyed by Agrippa's trilemma because none of it corresponds to reality. So maybe we want to say that A implies. What? Not J?
Just answer the question, but I know you're panicking and you're like anything to escape the embarrassment. You're like everything to escape the embarrassment. You gave a circular reasoning.
Would it be
circular answer to
A implies
to
not
the question that I asked?
Would it be that?
Oh my goodness! Come on, dude. I need you to track and focus on and engage with what I'm saying right now.
Is this the inference rule?
Okay, I asked you a direct question. You didn't concede that it was circular, so if you don't think it's circular, explain to me how it isn't circular. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have the inference rule inside chat. So I have premise 1, R implies J. Premise 2, if not J, then not R. Premise 3 was some gibberish. Premise 4 is A implies not J. Therefore, A implies not R. Is that correct?
I just need you to escape the trilemma. That's all I need.
Okay. Is that an accurate summary of the argument?
Dude,
I've already told you
sidestepping.
the
Stop
horn-
pivoting.
I've already explained
Stop
to you the
doing
horn
the.
that I.
Stop dodging. Stop
Whoa,
dodging.
calm down there. No need to get upset. I've already explained to you the
I'm not
justificatory route that I take.
I'm not upset. No,
Oh.
no, you gave us a good reason.
Are you sure?
Because
You
said
stand on the
this
verge
is
of
what you said.
tears.
This is what you said, right? You said that it's the impossibility of the contrary. That's how you know your worldview is true.
Oh, that's not. That's
Then
not
I
the
asked you.
epistemic justification. That's the.
Then hold
That's the
on.
metaphysical justification.
I asked you. Hold on. I asked you, right?
Another critical failure track.
Hold on. I asked you.
RaSol.
Hey, what gives you authority to make that knowledge claim that the impossibility of the contrary?
Yeah, by going through all the.
And you repeated the claim. No. The first response you said. Oh, it's just because it's the impossibility of the contrary. You repeated the actual claim, right?
Show on the replay.
But then,
recorded,
hold on.
Show on the replay
But then, even if you say, hey, we can go through all the other worldviews,
yes,
and deduce that my worldview is correct. I asked you, okay, what gives you the authoritative imperative to be able to evaluate other worldviews and gauge the validity of them, right? And you can't answer that, right? You're presupposing that your senses. You're presupposing that your senses
I literally
are
gave an argument for it. Maybe
because
I slammed him so hard that he has a concussion, which is why he doesn't remember.
Hold on. Stop with the rhetoric, bro. I'm actually engaging in good faith.
Like you said, and then I said, like okay, hey, bro. Right now, I literally gave you a syllogism for it.
You said because if something is coherent, therefore it's
reasonable. That. I said
because you said
that's
because
going to be one indicator that it's reasonable to believe.
You said because if something's reasonable, and I asked you,
it's going to be necessary but not sufficient for it to be a reasonable belief.
Because it just has no contradictions, right? And then I responded to, I'll grant you all of that. I'll grant you that's something
stupid to like listen to me. Every single time that you failed attack, and I just have to re-explain shit to you.
I'm going to grant you everything that you're invoking, right?
He's literally not capable of tracking or engaging.
It's okay. Like if you feel that something is reasonable, if you feel that something has no contradictions, I'll grant you every single one entailment that you're making, right? How does that somehow make your
Do you think my claim is that it's sufficient, that no contradictions is sufficient for knowledge?
That's the first part of your argument. Yes, it was. How do you know it's necessary?
Yeah, because otherwise you would believe something that's contradictory, but in order to have a thought at all, it needs to have a consistent identity. And in order to have a consistent identity, it can't be contradictory. It needs to exclude the sort of thing that it isn't. And that just is the law of non-contradiction. But
hold on, you know that there's like anti-realist positions that would like push back on your just knowledge or concept or whatever you want to. Yeah, but like you're actually making knowledge claims again. Like, see,
yes,
this is where I'm saying you're bootstrapping. This is a bootstrapping approach. You're doing a bootstrapping approach,
literally
right?
So stupid, dude. Oh, God,
no, you're a fucking idiot. No, I'm not. I'm not.
I'm going to give you a syllogism. Because you can tell me which.
Because in my worldview, elegantly.
Would you like that?
Sidesteps trilemma. It doesn't run into this issue, right?
And how does it do that?
You're blundering so bad.
How does your worldview do that?
In front of like how many people are watching this? Like in front of like 60 people.
It's gonna be.
It's just embarrassing, right?
Thousands after it gets uploaded.
Because if you think that bootstrapping is a valid approach, you're wrong. It's conceding to the actual argument.
I don't think I'm claiming to do that.
Okay, so you're not bootstrapping. You actually don't think that your senses.
No, you can't. You can't tell me the thing that I'm bootstrapping.
Hold on. You're bootstrapping the possibility that your senses are truth tracking. You're actually saying that.
I'm going to give you a syllogism.
You're saying. Hold on. You're saying that the very thing in question, right?
I'll give you a second syllogism.
You're saying that because your mental state.
If my senses do not give any sort of justification, then
you cut me off mid-sentence. Hold on. I don't need that right now.
Global skepticism about the external world is false.
I didn't ask you for. I need you to engage in good faith. I know you're getting
some sort of justification.
I know you're getting blown the fuck out right now, but you're just pivoting really high.
Stumbling through the insult.
Hold on.
God damn.
So
I feel
So
kind of bad.
this is the thing in question, right?
Can you imagine?
So I'm saying,
somebody tells you that you're getting blown the fuck out and they're literally crying.
Ian, like I'm saying, right? Like this is what I'm saying. Even if I grant you that you have some kind of a view that seems reasonable, that seems coherent,
which premise do you reject?
That you think that has no contradictions, it doesn't necessitate that worldview is true, right? The moment that you say my worldview, the worldview that Ian
which
is
premise do you reject?
Is
which
true,
premise?
right?
Which
and
premise
you're validating
do you reject?
all other
which
worldviews.
Premise?
I'm asking
what's
giving you that
reject?
epistemic?
Which premise do you reject?
What's giving you that epistemic access
to premise 1 or premise 2? Which premise?
Reality to be able to make that move, right?
Which premise?
So when I ask you to justify this,
which premise?
The very
premise 1 or premise 2
in question, you're like, well,
which premise?
I use my senses.
Do you reject
to like
premise
look at
1
other
or
worldviews?
Premise 2,
and then when I look at
premise
other worldviews,
premise 2,
I deduce
which
that my
premise do you
worldview is the
reject?
correct
Do you reject
one,
premise 1,
which is just
you
a
reject premise 2?
circular,
He's like
circular reasoning,
He's like literally
which
like
is invoking
He's
one of the
filibustering
legs
debate. He's
of
trying
Agrippa's
to talk
trilemma.
through to the
Like
next.
I'm trying to be charitable
to
here.
the
I'm trying to
closing
be like good
statements, I would
faith.
assume. Like he's
I'm not
trying to not
screaming
stop
or
talking until the
doing ad
closing
hominem.
statements.
I'm
such
actually
that he
like literally
doesn't have
letting
to
you like
answer the
engage in
question
good
that's in
faith.
front of him. The
But you
question
have
is
been
like very
unable
clear.
to
Do you
concede
reject premise 1
the
or
very
premise
notion
2?
that you're giving circular
Do
reasoning,
you
that
reject
you're
premise
getting
1 or
fucked
premise
by
2?
the argument that I
Do you
presented,
reject premise 1 or
right?
premise 2?
So I'm going to give you one
Do you
last
reject
chance
premise
to
1
give a
or
valid
premise 2?
justification
Do you
for the
reject
claim that you made.
premise
And if you
1
fail to
or
give a
premise
valid
2?
justification,
Premise
I'm
1,
going to end this live.
premise 2?
Go ahead.
Which premise
Give
do
me
you
the
reject? Premise
justification.
1 or premise? I
Go ahead.
literally gave you a justification. Do you reject premise 1 or
No.
premise 2? Or were you not tracking?
No, you gave circular reason. You said that you examine other worldviews. You said you examine other worldviews and
He's
deduce
literally pivoting
that your
from claim to
worldview.
claim to claim. Holy shit.
Hold on. You actually said that you examine other
Foundationally
worldviews.
incapable of actually engaging.
You said that you examine other worldviews and deduce that your worldview is the correct one.
Incapable of actually rejecting a
That's
premise.
the circular reasoning. That's circular reasoning.
I'm starting to think
and
that
I'm not
going to
let you pivot from that. I'm not going to.
I'm not even sure that we should grant this dude rights.
I'm not going to let you pivot from this. I'm going to
I actually think that
I know you're floundering.
might
You're
be more sentient than
panicking.
this guy.
You're panicking because you got caught. You're pinned up against a corner.
Yeah.
I'm not letting.
I'm
not
panicking
letting
at the
down.
moral dilemma that's in front of me. You know, do I want to?
What I do.
Do I want to save Rover or do I want to save RaSol?
I destroyed.
Given that I can only.
I destroyed you. I destroyed every single person that I ran this argument on because they could not refute the argument.
I'm sure you answered just as many questions with them as you have with me.
If you concede, we can move on.
Concede to what? Why would I? You can't reject a premise. I literally gave a justification.
You gave a circular justification.
You give a justification.
You gave a circular justification for the claim that you made.
I didn't.
That's what you have to concede on. Yes, you did.
Yeah, I have premise 1 that if my senses aren't reliable and don't give any justification, then external world skepticism would ensue.
No, hold on. I don't need you to give another premise. I'm actually.
Therefore,
I'm actually like, hold on.
My senses must give some sort of.
You're running a new argument. We're sticking to the original argument you gave, right?
You literally didn't track the first argument, so I'm giving you a simpler argument.
I pushed back on P1, right? And I asked you, how did you
reject that
reasonable, right?
If my senses don't give me justification, you think that it can be the case that my senses give me zero justification for belief?
I pushed back on P1, right? And I asked
world
you,
skepticism doesn't follow. You couldn't have any justified beliefs about the external world.
I'm pushing back on the reasonable claim, right?
Work if they didn't give any justification.
What is it that makes something reasonable, right? And I said, even if I grant that something seems reasonable to you, why would I grant that reasonable? Oh my gosh, bro. You're so fucking dumb. I swear, you're a fucking little tier.
I don't know why you would say that idiot. After like just another obviously true answer. Like,
no, you're not
giving
any true
you can ask a question and get like an obviously true answer,
being able to
and then his response to that is like, "This guy's so fucking stupid."
I'm asking you.
He'll come up to you and ask like, "What's 2 + 2?" And then
when you make truth claims,
and then he'll be like, "You're fucking stupid, dude. That's so fucking."
Give me the justification. Give me the justification for that truth claim, and then you just go back to your, oh well, my senses. I deduce. I look at other worldviews, and I just conclude that my worldview is the correct one. You're just a fucking idiot. You're a low-tier dumbass. You're a pseudo-intellectual. You're a pseudo-intellectual. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
you should go back, delete TikTok, and go back and study philosophy because you're a fucking low tier.
Yeah, that's that's really compelling to me. I'm really gonna go reevaluate the arguments that I've made in this debate.
You gave circular reasoning.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take this
definitely. I for
W.
sure did.
I'm gonna post it on my story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let everybody see what the
Yeah,
fuck you
that's
just
exactly
did.
what
I
happened. Yeah,
embarrassed you in
clearly.
front of everybody. 'Cause
Clearly.
you just don't grasp basic
I feel
philosophical
embarrassed.
concepts.
Yeah, it's it went really bad
You're a
for
little
me.
tear. And
Yeah, the
I'm gonna
debate went
leave this
horrible
live.
for
I'm
me.
done. I'm just gonna crash out right now because you're such a
Holy
little. I
shit,
just
dude.
can't
Oh
engage
god,
with
he's
people like
running.
you.
He's sprinting.
You lost, dude. You lost.
Are you running? I thought you were running.
You lost.
If you're not running, would you mind engaging with the argument that I
You
put
lost.
forward?
No, no. I'm not gonna let you pivot. You lost.
You're not going to engage with the argument that justifies my sense
So
No,
state?
just
because you
real
lost.
quick.
You
So real
lost.
quick, we have 10 minutes. If you guys want to move to closings, that's completely fine.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
closings then, because just Ian, you can go first, whatever you want. This is disappointment. Go ahead.
Right before
yeah.
closings, I did get one super chat. Thank you for the 20. Sorry, let me check the name. Thank you, unknown, for the 20. They just said monkey. Okay, well, thank you for that. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube. Also, if you like watching presup content, I actually also talked recently to Eli Nix yesterday. It was also pretty bad. And I have a video also on my channel the day before that, which was with another presup, which was an hour of humiliation. Also, I have a new YouTube video coming out.
Monkeyboy's a little biased, guys, so take that with a grain of salt, because he's a little bit biased.
Yeah, you can judge for yourself. And tomorrow I have a video coming out with the GOAT Charsky. Charsky, many of you have already seen the video, but Charsky debating evidence first on fine-tuning, so anticipate that. With that, we'll start with RaSol doing closings.
Yeah, okay. It'll be a quick closer. Man, I actually prepared an amazing argument as to why theism escapes Agrippa's dilemma, and I'm just sad that I wasn't able to present it, just because Ian wasn't able to track the conversation that was being had. He didn't understand that the very justification that he gave was circular and was just invoking one of Agrippa's dilemma. This worldview is going to be argued on throughout TikTok all year. I'm going to make a list of atheists that I'm going to go after, so that I can embarrass him in the way that I just embarrassed Ian right now. That's just it. Theism is true. It's the most rational worldview. Abandon atheism, become a theist. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, and Ian?
Yeah, I think probably the truest thing that I've said in the entire debate was 10 minutes ago when I said that RaSol is just going to filibust until the closing statement, such that he doesn't keep on getting like rhetorically fucked. And it looks like that's exactly what he did. He was probably watching the clock the entire time as he refused to shut the fuck up or reject a premise or answer a question. I didn't get a single question answered the entire debate with respect to RaSol's worldview or how he's able to do any of this. I think that might be kind of a failure of your worldview if you're not able to actually engage with what your opponent is saying. In the same way that I was able to engage with you, I gave you multiple arguments. You were incapable of actually giving a critique of any of them. And frankly, I think you should probably kill yourself. I think the world would be a better place without you. I think that you should take a shotgun.
We're on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Okay.
Chill. Yeah, gang, what are we doing?
My bad, G. Yeah, that's probably it.
Also, we have a $2 dono sent in by Liquid826. They ask RaSol, what makes God the only valid foundation?
Yeah, it's just so I'm very cognizant of I don't like to presuppose God into existence. So what I was going to do is just do a conceptual analysis, of the Christian worldview. And when we bring up the Christian worldview, God's omniscience, God's omnipotence is able to escape this trilemma. And I was expecting a good debate because I know there was going to be some pushback on this. But the fact that Ian wasn't able to concede to the very first part of the argument was just disappointing.
So Monkeyboy, I think for the closing poll, the poll shouldn't even be who won the debate. It should just be should RaSol end it? I think those are going to be like the more informative results, frankly. The closer poll.
Well, I don't really care about polls because I know a lot of the people watching are
And for
atheists and very biased. So I don't
yeah,
really care.
just for
I
YouTube
won.
context, we're talking about Fortnite.
Yeah,
But
of course. Like you should jump off like the Minecraft base.
right. Yeah, I mean, one's in the chat if you know.
Well, I won.
Oh no,
because,
yeah, AG already made it. It's cool.
Because Ian wasn't
Ian
able
had a
to
good idea there,
give a
but
non-circular reasoning, non-circular response. So that was just a concession. So I don't care what people say. Ian lost.
Wait, what's your defeater to coherentism?
Yeah. The conversation's over. I'm not going to debate with you anymore because you're such an idiot. But coherentism is also bootstrapping. It's presupposing the very thing in question.
What's
So
the
anytime
thing?
that you
The
invoke
question?
some kind of that because your worldview is coherent or is reasonable, somehow it's truth tracking or aligns with reality.
You're like justified in
It's
believing
just
it. Like, what's the critique of that?
no. I don't think justification is granted until you give a valid form of justification.
But I'm asking like, why is that invalid? It seems like you're a coherentist the way you're arguing circularly.
No, I'm not. I don't presuppose God. I don't define God into
Presupposing that
existence.
coherentism is an invalid form of justification, which is the very thing in question.
Yeah, because the very thing that I was pushing back is that under autonomous epistemology, the very thing in question is always going to be the thing that kind of defeats the atheist, right? Even if a worldview
what's the problem
feels
with
coherent.
coherentism?
Yeah, because it would be like it would be epistemic luck. You wouldn't be able to know if your worldview is true. Like you just presuppose that it's true because there's a multitude of worldviews that could be coherent, right? But the fact that you claim that your worldview, but the fact that you think that your worldview is the only worldview that is like the right one, this is the whole bootstrapping and the whole presupposing the reliability of your senses to even deduce that.
Is there like a justification for the claim that multiple worldviews could be coherent?
What's that?
Is there like a justification for the claim that multiple worldviews could be coherent?
Yeah, I grant people can believe something's coherent or reasonable. I just don't grant that it aligns with reality.
Well, I'm asking, but you said multiple worldviews can be coherent. What's the justification for that? I'm like voice cracking over here.
Yeah, because you're
it's because my balls got stuck so far up your ass.
I think I passed the virus through the microphone. My bad.
That's a weird little kink you have. I mean, this we can do this conversation another day. I'm exhausted with with the whole conversation. I'm disappointed. Like I said, I gave my closing remarks. I'm disappointed to the fact that you were so ill prepared. I really expected more pushback, and I'm just done.
Well, maybe you would have gotten it if you engaged.
I did.
You filibustered. We all saw it.
No, I asked you to concede that you gave a circular response. And
why would I concede when I'm correct?
You gave a circular response, and I don't want to go over this.
Sorry, what's the critique of coherentism?
Dude, this is over, bro. Like, you lost.
Okay,
Take the L.
Yeah, sure. So no critique of that. No reason to think that that's like actually an invalid epistemology. Wait, RaSol, would you want to debate whether or not my moral realism is true?
Well, I'm exhausted right now. I'm gonna go after bigger fish.
Typically my debate opponents are exhausted after I fuck them so vigorously. So that's fair enough.
You lost. You look bad right now with the rhetorical nonsense you're saying.
I'm full of energy. I'm ready for round 2. I'm virile.
You got riled up. You got riled up
because I called out your rhetorical backshots the entire time.
I understand that you're riled up because you got triggered because I completely destroyed your worldview. Yep. I understand that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone in the replay is going to think that that's what happened too. I think that they're all going to come away with that exact impression.
So, guys, I'm going to release a list of atheists I'm going to go after.
Well, right before that, we'll do that in a moment. Just for YouTube's sake, you could probably see on the screen, but the quality might not be the best. The poll is 37 in favor of Ian and 2 for RaSol. But also, we do have a super chat. I don't know. You could check, but We also have a super chat. I think this is for us.
Oh, because it gives you one as default just in virtue of like the dino thing. So it's actually one. It's actually 36-1 with the one being JR. Is JR still here?
Well, here I'm gonna be
Could we ask
charitable.
JR to come up and explain his decision?
Can any atheist that voted against me, can they come up here and respond to the question that Ian wasn't able to respond?
Hold on,
I'll be
let's
happy.
Control it. So we'll do it like this. I'll read the super chat, then Russell can list the things, and then we can call up whoever the person was who voted for Russell if Ian wants to talk with them.
No, I want actually the people that voted against me. I want them to come up here and actually respond to the question that I presented to Ian.
Okay, yeah, we could do that too. Let's just start with the super chat. Thank you, Layloke, for the $5. They say, how do you be happy being surrounded by family that forces their beliefs onto you and shun you for not believing what they believe? I think that's for Russell.
And that's Ian, because he's an atheist, right? Because he's being shunned for believing in no God. The question doesn't even make sense. My family doesn't shun me. We're all theists. We all believe in God. We all hold rational positions.
I don't know. I think probably what you do in a situation like that is that you find people who are like-minded, people who share values with you. I mean, you're born into your family, and it's great if your family works out for you. Like, I think it's wonderful if people are in families and they get along well with their family members. That's fine. I don't think that that's required, though, and I don't think that you should feel ashamed. Like, if your family is just irreconcilable in terms of like them accepting you, I think it's fine to spend less time with them and dedicate more effort towards people that you actually enjoy spending time with.
Well, no, that's actually not true, though. That's not true, because like if you're gonna sacrifice your family for an irrational position like atheism, don't do it, right? I know atheism is an emotional appeal to like combat Christianity, because a lot of people have been hurt by Christian worldviews. But don't sacrifice your family over an irrational position, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
don't do
I
it.
think the person hurt most of all is RaSol. It's completely drained his IQ points. He's like the Benjamin Button of IQ. He was born a 140 IQ mogger, and now he's at like 60 IQ.
Sure, yeah, you got cooked.
Look,
you're talking shit. That's
he's gonna die of IQ loss.
Okay. Come on, Russell.
You got cooked. You're talking shit.
Look, okay, Russell. You said you wanted to list out people you want to call out or whatever like that. We also have JR already raising their hand, so I think they are actually willing to talk with Ian after, and then Russell can call out whoever who voted against him too.
Well, I'm actually gonna post it on my channel, my TikTok channel. I'm gonna release a list of atheists that I'm gonna go after.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna do it here. So
you're not gonna do it here?
No.
Okay. So we could bring up JR and they could talk with Ian and where are they at? Oh, did they? Oh, no. I'll just invite them.
Russell, did the results of the poll maybe make you think that it didn't go well? Like, does that give you pause? Because typically, after like a Discord debate, when I look at the poll and the poll is like, 20 people voted against me and like nobody voted for me, I probably would take a step back and think like, wow, I need to improve my rhetoric game, or I need to, maybe get like deeper on the substance.
Why would I do that though? Like, you literally are a low tier, and the people that follow you are low tier.
Oh,
so
okay.
why would I?
I was just asking whether or not you would like.
Why would I even give any
performance? Like, if
why
there's
would I
like
give any like
maybe like some sort of like pause or like thought about
to
like
low tier votes, right? Half of
whether
the
or
people
not
on
you
these,
actually did
on
well,
these
whether or not you have like room for improvement. But okay, like the thought didn't even cross your mind. That's kind of just what I was wondering about. Right? So okay, that makes sense.
You don't even understand that your response was literally conceding to a group of struggling. You're giving a circular response. It's just I don't worry myself.
I'm giving a justification for how to overcome it.
I don't worry about what low tier people think. No, I don't.
Okay, well, we got another.
I think it's kind of discouraging to not care about what you think.
Yeah, funny.
We got another super chat again for RaSol. You're getting a lot, RaSol. Virtuous Path 9 sends $5 asking, can Ra explain how a non-theistic religion like Taoism is irrational? Worded a little weird, but basically, can you explain how Taoism is irrational?
So it's a non-theistic religion like Taoism. Is it? It would be some kind of a compatible with atheism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it falls into the autonomous epistemology, which is the crux of the actual argument when I'm invoking a group of trilemma. So any reason that they would bring forth would be circular because it's coming within internally from the agent itself.
You know, I know that you're not going to answer this question, but I do think it's worth asking. How do you think your worldview escapes Agrippa's trilemma?
Well, I was prepared. I prepared so much. I was going to give it to you, but you're just going to like not get it because you're such a low bad faith interlocutor.
Well, but there's like 60 people watching. I'm sure maybe one of them will get it, even if I don't.
No. This is your punishment.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. And I'm a bit concerned that like maybe like one of the 200 people currently watching this, you know, I know that you actually prepared and you actually have an answer to this question, but I'm worried that somebody in the audience might come away with the impression. There's just so many people watching. I don't want them to come away with the wrong impression. They might come away thinking that you actually don't have an answer to that question.
I do have it, and you'll see it on future debates.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure not a single one of the 174 people on YouTube watching, or the like 60 people here watching, I'm sure not a single one of them would have tracked, but you know, I'm sure you do have an answer. Sure. Yeah, definitely.
All I know is that you gave a circular reason, and you actually fell victim of a group of trilemma, and I'll take that W. I don't care I don't care if all these low tier people.
But what's your critique of circular reasoning? Like, why is circular reasoning wrong?
Because circular reasoning would be wrong because it's just making a bootstrapping approach to the actual problem.
You know what bootstrapping is?
Yes, it's invoking.
So what's the thing that you'd be bootstrapping?
The reliability of your senses, right?
Nope, that's it.
Well, no, hold on. This is actually invoking some kind of like the sniper's paradox, right? Where you're just saying that you're saying that the actual you're invoking that you can just infinitely like regress truth, right? But the fact of the matter is that truth is never actually there because it would just be.
I don't even know what coherentism is. Okay, I'm sorry. That's actually my mistake. I shouldn't have asked.
Oh no, you asked about circularity, right? What's wrong with circularity? That's what you said.
Yeah. Well, that's what.
Okay. I thought you said. You know? Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said infinitism. I apologize.
No.
What's the coherentism? Well, circularity would be something like you're just invoking that something feels reasonable and that you're invoking. No. What's that?
No, that false.
No, yes, it does, because this is what I'm asking. This is what you're saying. Like if you say something like, "Hey, my senses derive that worldview is reasonable, it's coherent, right?" And then when I ask you, "Okay, how did you derive that?"
Okay,
and then hold on.
Is, just to be clear.
And then you say something to the effect of like, "Hey, well, yeah, it's just like my senses are just coming up with this rule that just feels reasonable, feels that it corresponds to reality."
Wait, what do you think coherentism is?
It doesn't really like coherentism would be something that's arguing that a worldview is coherent, therefore it actually is true.
That it's justified.
No, but that's the very thing in question, right? Just because something, I already granted you this, right? I said even if you think that something is coherent, even if you think that something's reasonable, there's no, you can't make the leap that just because it feels reasonable, it feels coherent, therefore it's true. You can't make that leap. You have to have something to bridge your mental state with reality.
What's the argument for that?
You need that's just a bold assertion. That's just like an arbitrary claim, an arbitrary axiom.
God. So, okay. So you have no critique of circularity. So
I just gave it. I gave it to you. Hold on.
Hold on. Axioms. You can't do circularity. And you can't do.
Hold on. Are you not tracking
example,
what I'm
like
saying
infinitism. So you have no critique of circularity.
You think you're pushing back? Hold on.
You literally tried to give a critique of like.
Is it logically true?
Which is foundationalism. Like,
is it logically possible, Ian, that somebody holds to a view that they feel is reasonable and feel that it makes sense? It actually not aligned with reality.
Yes. How is that indicative?
So hold on. So let's say that
would be that doesn't fit under coherentism insofar as if it's out of line with reality, there's going to be some incoherence within the worldview.
You're interrupting me mid-sentence, right?
I know. I'm trying to save you from yourself.
Because you're making that leap, right? You're making that assertion without any valid justification. You're saying because the worldview feels reasonable, because the worldview feels coherent,
No,
right? Because
false.
it feels that it aligns with reality.
Wait, you think
Therefore, I can make the
coherentism
claim
is when
that I'm
somebody thinks it's
justified.
coherent?
I'm justified to
Do you
say
think
that
that's
it
what
is true,
coherentism
right?
is?
That's exactly what
I
we're
wasn't
discussing right here,
prepared for you
right?
not knowing what coherentism was. You think
That's actually what we're
coherentism is
discussing right
literally
now. We
when
actually discuss
you
right now.
feel like something is coherent.
No, that's actually what it's.
You should blow your brains
Go ahead and
out.
go ahead. Push back. What do you think it? How do you think it escapes the trilemma? If you think that I'm wrong about
That's
it,
what I'm
go ahead.
asking. What's your critique of
No,
coherentism?
I gave you my critique. I gave you my critique.
You don't even know what coherentism is. Coherentism is not when you feel like
Pull it
it's
up.
coherent. Coherentism is the view that worldviews are justified in virtue of being coherent.
Holy shit! That's what I just said.
No, you said coherentism is when people feel like it's coherent. If the worldview isn't actually coherent, then it isn't justified.
Hold on. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were this stupid. Honestly, dude, that's literally the tautology what I just said. If somebody claiming a worldview is coherent, it's nothing more than their seemings. I can
No, that's phenomenal
concede.
conservatism. That's
I can concede.
foundationalism.
Hold on, I can concede.
Oh, God,
that
critical blunder.
Hold on. No, it's not a critical blunder. No,
You just
I can
said that.
concede. I can concede that
Oh,
you
God,
think
I'm like
that
processing
hold
how
on.
stupid that was. You just said phenomenal
No,
conservatism
this is
a
not.
form of
No, you're so
coherentism.
confused. I'm actually pulling it up right now. You're so confused. You're so fucked right now.
Oh gosh,
No,
you should
just
pull it up.
because
You
the
should
world,
pull it up and you should
just
read it. You should Google.
just because you think,
is phenomenal
just because you claim.
conservatism
No,
a form
hold
of
on.
coherentism to maybe
'Cause
get a
you're
bit clear on that confusion.
You're actually using your senses to make the claim that a worldview is coherent, right? That's what's being said right here.
coherentists would
Your
say that their
your
granting
senses are invoking
justification
nothing
is
more.
coherent, that the worldview is
Hold on.
coherent.
Your senses are invoking nothing more than your seemings, which will justify the coherency of the claim.
No,
the claim that you're saying that something's coherent. Yes,
that's
yes.
phenomenal
You're
conservatism.
confused.
That's foundationalism.
No.
Holy oh
Hold on.
gosh, that's
Hold
so
on.
embarrassing,
No.
dude.
That
You think phenomenal conservatism is
no.
coherentism?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
God.
I said that the seemings could be motivations as to why you think something's coherent,
You're
right?
talking about
It can be
phenomenal
motivations. I'm not
conservatism.
saying no. You're lost. You're completely lost, right? I invoked the very thing that you can think the worldview is coherent. You can make the claim that the worldview is coherent, right? And I will push back. Hold on, I will push back, and I say, hey, how did you deduce that your worldview it falls under this condition, right?
Yeah, then the coherentist
you would
says
use
that the
nothing more
worldview is
than your
coherent.
sensory data. You would use nothing more than your sensory data.
No,
which is
you
just
can reason. Oh
you can't
God,
escape.
you can reason a priori.
No, you can't.
You can't
you
reason
cannot reason
a priori.
No, you can't. You can't because even a priori, even the invocation,
blunder. Holy
even the invocation.
Shit, dude.
Hold on.
Wait,
even
how
the
do you
invocation
determine
of
with
a priori.
sense
Hold
data,
on. Even the
an
invocation of
unmarried
a
man is
priori
unmarried?
knowledge. Hold on. Even the invocation of a
In a just
priori
society, you would
knowledge
be forced to
would be
toil
some
under
kind
my
of
yoke,
it would be
RaSol.
some kind of seeming. You dumb fuck.
Holy
No,
shit.
you're lost.
You don't think that
I'll
you
look
can
this up, and
reason
you're
a
fucked. You're lost.
priori?
Even when you evoke a priori knowledge, right? You're still using
You just
your
said that
senses
you
to
can't
invoke this,
reason
right?
a priori.
No, that's not what I said. I said that
It's on
any vocation
recording.
you bring forth, even if you invoke some kind of a priori knowledge, right? It's going to be your sensory data that's doing this like analytical work to justify every worldview that you're trying to invoke.
Oh gosh. Oh fuck. I actually that one took a lot out of me. Even hearing that one took a lot out of me.
Yeah, you're lost.
What a
You're
confused
lost.
mess.
No, coherentism does not escape.
That's like the worst thing that you've said.
It doesn't
so
escape
far,
it. It doesn't escape it, dude. Like you're lost. It doesn't escape it.
Reason
Just because
a priori
you invoke
with your sense
coherentism,
data about analytic truths.
The very thing.
It's like the worst thing that I've ever heard in my entire life.
To validate,
three things that are wrong with
any worldview that you put forth, infinitism, coherentism, any worldview that you put forth, you're using your senses to validate them. You're so stupid, dude. You don't even understand what basic philosophy. Yes,
That's not true.
Fucking idiot.
For example, like the worldview that beliefs exist. You don't need to use your sense data to verify that beliefs exist.
Hold on, that's not a complete like conceptual schema. Like you're just saying some random shit. We're talking
what
about conceptual
qualifies as a
schemas.
complete conceptual schema?
It would be like a foundational structure to your holistic worldview, right? You're just saying random shit like, oh, the
Foundational
number two,
structure to your
the number
holistic
two.
worldview.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're just
And by
fucking, right? You're
foundational
just saying random
structure, you
shit.
mean what?
You're just saying random shit. It's just
By
saying,
foundational structure, you mean what?
yeah, you would invoke some kind of like empiricism, or you would invoke some kind of like methodology of how you would ground the justifications that are invoked within your worldview.
Okay, so
there's
foundational structure just refers to like a
different
foundationalist epistemology.
there's different
And then what's the
there's different
holistic worldview?
there's different metaphysical invocations you can make, right?
Those are all
it would.
epistemic. You have a brain bleed, but continue.
Hold on. No, hold on. What? No, you're just talking. You think you're cooking, but you're not. You're just saying a bunch of random shit. You're
Empiricism
not.
is a metaphysics?
No, you dumb fuck. I didn't say that. I said that empiricism will be one of the invocations of the structure that invokes your worldview. The worldview would be a metaphysical claim, right? Holy fuck,
There are
dude!
things
Like,
in your worldview that are not metaphysical. Oh god,
that's fine.
Stupid.
That's fine.
Okay,
That's fine though.
You think
right?
non-metaphysical things are metaphysical? Because you just said that it's all metaphysical.
No, because even empiricism would be invoking.
Oh gosh,
it would be a self. No.
Real
Dude,
quick,
you're
if we can
just
hold off, we have another question for RaSol, and we have a statement towards Ian. The first is $5 from Fancy Zing. He asks, is RaSol, if you prepared, you should be able to explain how your argument is valid, and you can address the validity critique. Ian can re-explain it if necessary.
Yep, the critique is just that it doesn't follow a valid inference rule.
You don't have anything to say to that, RaSol, or?
Ask the question again.
Well, it's actually a statement. It says, if RaSol, if you prepared, you should be able to explain how your argument is valid and can address the validity critique. Ian can re-explain it if necessary.
The critique is just that your argument is invalid. It doesn't follow a valid inference rule.
Yeah, which premise did Ian reject?
Which premise doesn't follow a valid inference rule?
No,
you should be executed. I think we should execute you.
Why?
Okay,
hold on. Why do you
that
think
one? With that one, we'll go to. Hold on. With that one, we'll go to the statement.
Why do you think the argument? Hold on. Why do you think the argument doesn't follow through?
Because the premises don't necessitate the conclusion.
Yeah, like that's the claim. I need you to justify that. I need you to justify that.
Funny.
Hold on. Like that's the claim. Like, go ahead and give me.
Do you want me to type out like a truth table?
I have ran this through a truth table. Yeah.
Oh, if you ran it through a truth table, then you should already have the inference rule.
It's valid.
What's the inference rule then?
Okay, so no, hold on. You made a claim that it's not valid. Go ahead.
Okay, so to be clear, you
haven't
ran it through. Yeah, one sec.
Give me the justification as to why it's not valid.
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up the inference rule for it.
Hold on. You're pivoting again, right? You do this. You make these claims, right? And when I call you out and I ask you to justify the claim, you just pivot to something else. You said that it wasn't valid, and I'm asking you to justify that.
Okay, happy to. Let's. Yeah, I'm looking up like a truth table generator.
Okay, why do you do that?
You don't have an argument.
There's another dono towards Ian. It's $10 from Phil Dragon. They say, Ian, you're so low tier because you didn't recognize because I say so is the greatest argument ever. I solved that. I solved the problem because I said I did. Take your loss because I say it.
True.
What?
Yeah, RaSol, you should use that one. Ian said true. You use that concession on record.
Hold on. When did I ever say because I said so? When was this even uttered out of my mouth?
Well, that's right. I mean, he did dodge and avoid. He didn't even say because I say so, because he doesn't even have an answer to any of these questions. He just says, whoa.
The reason why I didn't want to move forward,
and then I'll allow you to ask.
The reason why I didn't move forward to my worldview was because you weren't able to concede that you gave a circular response to the question that I asked.
Because I didn't.
You did.
What was the question you asked, and what was the circular response?
Hold on. Why would I repeat the question I asked? We've debated this for like 45 minutes or like an hour. I don't know.
You're just
Like,
about to demonstrate that I gave a
why would
circular
I
answer.
go?
It sounds like
Why
you don't
would I
even know
go
what
through
the answer
the
was.
problem? Yes, we went through this. I actually gave you the criticism of why your argument was circular. The fact that you just trying to like do this weird move or like this is just embarrassing. Like I gave you the reason why your answer was circular. I gave you the reason.
And what was the question that you asked? Do you even remember?
Yes, I do remember.
So what was the question?
What's the argument that I should rehash this argument when you already conceded that you couldn't respond?
That's brutal.
Why would I rehash it if you already
actually might be
conceded you couldn't?
I'm sorry, that was evil.
Hold on. Why would I rehash it if you already conceded that you weren't able to overcome?
That was a cruel question that I asked you just now.
No, you got correct, dude. Like the fact that Phil Dragon thinks that I gave a. No, you got rhetorically like destroyed. Like, this is crazy.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Like
you did.
Believe it.
It was terrible. You gave a circular reasoning. I asked you why you think your response is true or your claim was true. And you just gave like you repeated the claim, and then when I pushed you on that, you said that you would you would look at other worldviews and then deduce that other worldviews are not true.
And you think you're under the impression that that's circular?
Therefore making your worldview true. And then I asked you, okay, but you're presupposing that you have the ability to make that this, you know.
But what's the conclusion?
You have the ability.
How is it presupposed in the premise?
Because the very thing in question is how do you know that your senses are reliable enough to
do you
make
think
that
a question is a proposition?
But
do you
then,
think that was propositional? How do you know your senses are reliable is propositional?
But then when you say, hey, well, I would like look at other worldviews and use my sensory data to deduce my worldview. That's exactly what you said. You would deduce
said the opposite of that.
Your argument would be the right one.
I said that you can rule out the existence of specific worldview, or you can rule out the truth of specific worldviews a priori.
Okay, give me the argument for that. Go ahead.
For what claim?
That you can rule out the
specific worldviews a priori.
Rule out,
for example, you can rule out eliminative materialism.
Give me the argument.
Give me the argument. Because
give me the argument.
That would posit that beliefs don't exist.
This is what you do when you call that, right? You start crashing out. Okay, you made a claim that you can use a priori to like invalidate the other worldviews. Give me the argument for that. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So take a worldview like eliminative materialism, which posits that beliefs don't exist. Well, you could determine the falsity of this claim because you'd be believing that beliefs don't exist, which falsifies the very thing in question. It posits the very thing they reject. So a priori, there's a contradiction.
Okay, but there's other views that would hold.
I didn't claim that you can rule out all views a priori, just that you can rule out some views a priori.
No, but that was the contention. I asked you, how do you know your worldview is the correct one?
And I said you'd rule out different worldviews in different ways.
No, you would have to rule out all worldviews.
You have to rule out every worldview in the same way? Are you stupid? That's like the most obvious.
I didn't ask you to do it. I didn't ask you to do it. I didn't ask you. I don't know. I don't care what method you use. But you would have to rule out every other worldview.
Methods for different worldviews is how you'd rule them out.
Yeah. So how would you rule out every other worldview?
Yes. Yeah. Which worldview
be able to make the claim? Hold on. You would have to. This is your burden, right? Mm-hmm. You're making the claim that you're able to deduce that all other worldviews are false.
Yes. Sure.
Right. And you would be able to conclude or deduce that your worldview is the correct one. And I asked you, how do you do that? Right. And then you asked me, well, provide me which worldview. No. You have
Except
to.
There are stutters in my answer. Only
you have the burden, right? You made the claim that you can rule out all of the worldviews. Go ahead, justify that.
Yeah, so my worldview is atheism. I hold to an atheist worldview. And the way that I rule out the non-atheist worldviews, the theist worldviews, is with the following argument. Either God was eternally creating or not eternally creating. If God was eternally creating, then creation eternally exists, which means that he never actually created it. contradiction. The alternative is that God is not eternally creating, which means that he goes from not creating and then he begins creating. But of course, that's a change, which places God into time, which means that he couldn't create time. So
Okay, real
that
quick
leads
before
to the conclusion that he's not an ultimate being, which rules out the existence of a God.
Okay, so before RaSol addresses it, if anything, maybe Ian could repeat it. There's another question for RaSol from Fancy too. Fancy's Zling with $10 says, RaSol, if you don't understand how the rules of valid inference work, how do you know when something is justified if you don't even know how justification works in the first place? You could just answer that briefly and then go back to Ian's argument.
Yeah, she's making the assumption that I don't know how justification works, so she would first have to like give me an argument for that.
You understand validity though? That was like the main point.
Yeah, she's presupposing somehow that I don't understand how validity works.
Would you mind giving a definition of validity? What's your understanding of validity?
Yeah, I just don't grant the claim that was made.
But what is validity?
Hold on, why would I engage anything further?
No. Why wouldn't you look that up? Why would you do that?
Hold on. This is like
Dude.
asking, this is like a loaded question.
Shit.
Why would I even like?
Guys,
why would I
wonder
even
who
like
the
engage with it?
imposter is?
That was a good one, Russell. That was a good one. I gotta give you that.
No, like I just want to engage with this. No, hold on. Like, what's the argument that I don't understand what validity is? This is terrible.
This is so trivial.
Why would I engage with that? No. This is beneath me. Like I would not grant the claim that's being made, and I won't even entertain it or
Russell,
engage in this conversation.
I will Venmo you $5 American right this second if you give a definition of validity.
Broke boy, why would I think why would you think that I need $5 from your broke ass?
He doesn't know. This is like a free $5.
No, like, dude, the fact that I would engage with it would be validating the actual. Would actually be validating the statement. No,
oh my God,
this is beneath me. This is beneath me.
That's really sad that you don't know what validity is.
Dude, what's the argument that I don't know what validity is? Go ahead.
We can create like an abductive case on the basis that you can't give the definition, even though it would be trivial to give. The fact that you DM'd me a one premise argument. Let me drop the screenshot in chat. He DM'd me his argument and it was a single premise. That's radically unexpected if you know what validity is, but that's like kind of exactly what we would expect if you're clueless. One sec, let me go ahead and drop the screenshot into side chat.
You don't even know what the symbols represent, so no, it's not an invalid.
Yeah, exactly, no. Right. It's a single fucking line though. It's at the bottom there. You don't
even know what it stands for. So the fact that you can't even read it,
unexpected on
the fact that you can't even read it, the fact that you can't read it. The fact that you don't understand what the symbols are representing is just, you're fucked. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
Typically people define what the symbols mean.
Yeah,
they're variables.
I asked you. I was gonna give you the rest of the argument, right? But then I asked you, then I told you, hey, it's just simple Agrippa's trilemma. And then I asked you, is that sufficient? You said yes. So this is just the desperate move.
The line
this is a desperate
after all the rest.
This
of
is a
stuff.
desperate move.
This is a desperate move. You failing to give a valid argument is at the bottom of the messages. It's the most recent one.
This is actually part of my argument that I prepared so much for. Right, I was gonna validate that very thing that I sent you. So no, this is a desperate. This is you desperately grasping at straws because you got destroyed. Right, you weren't able to overcome. Premise? You weren't able to overcome. You don't know what it says. Do you even know what it says?
It's not valid. It's a single premise.
Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing.
I agree.
This is embarrassing. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking. Go back to and
look
study
up what validity means.
Basic philosophy. Dude, this is beneath me. Like, why would I entertain this question?
Whoa.
What's the argument? Then I don't know what validity is.
RaSol, name 10 philosophers.
Why would I like?
You want an easy slam dunk? Name 10 philosophers.
No, why would I do this? This is beneath me, right? The fact that you got your ass blown out. The fact that you got your ass blown out, right?
This is like now you're doing this. This would be like a slam dunk for you.
You're doing this desperate grasp at like anything that you can to salvage the very little like respect that I had for you. This is embarrassing, bro. Like this is stupid.
Is that what you do? You start like
I don't grant whatever that person claimed. Yeah, why would I grant it? I would need an argument for
Because
that.
it's obviously true.
Yeah, go ahead and give me the argument for that.
Yeah, I just gave the abductive case. Do you know what abductive means, by the way?
Right
gosh,
before that,
dude.
we can. This is actually hilarious. Yeah. So we got a donate from Current Dave. Current Dave says, "No question here. Just showing my support for Monkeyboy and Ian's content. This live has been the birth of a whole new tier, a tier of debates legends only hinted at the lowness that no one believed in before now."
Monkeyboy, now I want you to
tier.
bring up. I want you to bring up other atheists that would be able to like defeat the proposition that I made.
Okay.
Does anybody else feel like brave enough to like come up here?
Yeah, if anyone
come up
in the
here and
audience
actually
wants
give
to
a
come talk
defeater
about
to the
Sully.
argument, because obviously your pseudo intellectual atheist content creator Ian was failed and was unable to overcome the argument.
Wait, does JR want to defend their vote? I don't know if JR is still here.
I invited
Does
them
anybody,
twice, they're not accepting.
any of the low tiers on the audience, do any of them want to join and try to refute the argument that I presented?
Just go ahead and give the inference rule.
Anybody?
Would you mind reading premise 3 again?
You've already been cooked, dude. Let somebody else come up
I was
here.
wondering,
Anybody else want to join?
I must have misheard premise 3 because I don't think
does
premise 3
anybody
was even like
else-
a complete sentence.
Everybody voted that somehow for Ian, right? Obviously, you guys found his argumentation like convincing. Can you steelman his argument and show how he overcame the proposition that I presented, or the argument that I presented?
Sorry, hand raising was off.
Anybody?
I didn't even notice. If anyone wants to raise their hand now.
Somebody come up here. Come on.
Yeah, I have a simple counter argument, which is just that you said earlier that nobody has a priori thing. So I'll grant that, which means that your proposition, which would be a priori because nobody has any idea what it means, would have to be false.
Hold on, I had a bunch of background noise. Go ahead and refute how you can make knowledge claims as an atheist. Go ahead. Hello?
I think they.
What do you mean by
disconnected.
knowledge there?
I gave descriptions of everything at the beginning of the argument.
Yeah, his definition of knowledge, for clarification, was knowledge is justified true belief, not defeated by gator-styled luck or epistemic luck.
Also, Fancy even sent an argument. Fancy said, premise 1, if RaSol can address validity critique, then it is prima facie evidence. He doesn't know the R of valid inference. Premise 2, P, conclusion Q. Why should we give an argument when you don't know how to argue?
C315T. So how do you justify that atheists can give knowledge claims?
I mean, it's logically possible, right? Why would I think atheists can't make knowledge claims?
Hold on, I presented an argument. Which
just
premise
joined,
do you disagree with?
Yeah, I just
Which
joined
premise do you disagree with?
argument.
Step down low tier. You obviously don't have a response. Anybody else?
I just joined, so.
Yeah, exactly. Step down. Shut the fuck up and like let somebody else come up that can actually refute the argument. Any other low tier atheists in the audience that wants to come up here and refute the argument?
How about a theist to go against the argument?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so question, do you objectively exist?
Arguments are not questions. I need an argument.
No. I am asking you a question. Do you objectively exist?
Okay.
You've been asking questions this whole time to Ian this whole time. And now when
Hey,
it's being turned against
Monkey Boy.
you,
Monkey Boy, can you let somebody else that actually has an argument? Because this guy's asking
then,
questions.
yeah, then fine. Let me present
questions aren't arguments.
the argument itself. Then, if God is the creator of objective reality, then people are able to understand objective reality without knowledge of God. We see this in science. We see this in the fact that I can know you and others without needing knowledge of God. Logic and reason is grounded in the understanding of reality. Therefore, logic and reason does not need to be grounded in God.
Hold on. All right, I'm going to engage with this. Go ahead. I wasn't listening, but the end of it actually intrigued me. So go with the start from the beginning.
Why should I? You should have been listening from the very beginning.
Hey, hold on. When I ask for an argument, he just completely throws that out. But when he does it, it's okay. What's with the double standard here?
No, because the Catholic thinker, this lukewarm theist, is trying to push back on my argument. Right? He's saying that he said something about
how is he a lukewarm
if God exists. Yeah, theists that are like think that being cool or liked by atheists is like somehow like appealing. It's just a disgusting. Just a disgusting thing. It's just a disgusting like position to hold, because you should be calling out atheists, saying that they are going to go. They don't accept the one and true Christian God, right? This is what you should be doing. You should be calling them out and saying, "Hey, you're leading people astray, and you're going to be damned, and you're going to go to hell."
So here's the problem with your justification. Here's your problem with your logic on that accusation, which one is an ad hominem, because it doesn't actually address the argument. But two, even Jesus himself in the Gospel of Matthew points out that because he hung around with tax collectors and sinners, people accused him of being a drunkard and a partier. But as he points out, him hanging out around those individuals is what led to repent.
This is a category error, because I'm not saying that sinners themselves would be something not allowed to hang around, right? I'm saying that anybody that's arguing against the Christian worldview, you should push back strongly. You should say, no, you're leading people astray. You're leading people astray. And I will not tolerate this. But no, you sit here, you go there, and you're like, "Oh, you're my buddy. Like, I like you." You think that because they like you, somehow you like this validates your persona. You're just a lukewarm Christian. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So one, I do push back on them, and they push back on me.
I've seen your I've seen your arguments. You were so proud of like going on deconstruction Justin. Oh my gosh, I had a conversation with deconstruction Justin. Like
and
he didn't grant me. He didn't grant your.
That.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Nobody grants any of your argumentation. It's stupid.
So one, that is a red herring fallacy and a pivot. First of all, and then two,
what's the pivot and what's the red herring? What's the pivot and what's the red herring?
The fact that you're bringing up stuff that is unrelated to the fact that you could not answer, how the fact that people can know that fact that you exist without needing to know that God exists destroys your whole argument on the grounding of logic.
Hold on. Okay. The fact that I exist destroys the argument that God exists?
So monkeyboy and Ian all agree that you exist. But you exist by your logic because of God. You ground your existence in God. And your claim is that they can only come to knowledge and reason if they understand and know God. But they can know you exist without needing to know God. And because logic and reason, as you were talking about trying to quote up with the empirical information, ignoring the a priori stuff that Ian was getting at, you were focusing on the empirical information, and because you were focusing on the empirical information, that shows that you acknowledge that empirical data exists, and it shows that you acknowledge that people can know empirical data without needing it grounded in God. Logic is grounded in differences in information. Empirical data is information, and we have differences in that empirical data. Therefore, logic is grounded in that difference. Therefore, you don't need to know God exists. If we can know that you exist without needing to know God, we don't need to know God in order for logic to exist. Tag is a terrible argument.
No,
It was
no,
literally used. It was literally used. It was literally used to get rid of philosophy in the Middle Ages.
No,
Yes.
you're just making a huge blunder right here, right? You're making a lot of assumptions that I wouldn't grant, right? You're saying that
that's why I asked you a question so I could understand what you were coming from, and you refused to answer because it's not an argument. So I gave you the argument based on what I understand your position to be.
You're saying that somehow because they Ian and like monkeyboy know that I exist, therefore that's knowledge? No, I wouldn't grant that because it could be.
No, I didn't say that it equals. I didn't say that it equals knowledge. What I said is that they know that you have existence. Otherwise, what you are saying is solipsism at best,
Hold on.
and global skepticism at worst.
Maybe go back and look at the whole argumentation and the terms how I define them. When I'm invoking knowledge, it's a true justification that actually corresponds to reality, right? If you want to say
what you're referring to,
I'm mid-sentence. Hold on, I didn't cut you off when you spoke, right? Lukewarm Christian, shut the fuck up. All right, when I make that you can't make a knowledge claim, I'm saying if your belief, if you're going to make a claim that your belief actually aligns or corresponds to reality, you're going to need some kind of justification. You can make a belief that doesn't align with reality, right? And this would be invoking some kind of solipsis or like some kind of matrix, right? You can be dreaming and think that I'm real, but there's no justification to be able to be made through this.
So here's the problem with your approach to it, because you said correspondence to reality. That's fine. Justified true belief that corresponds to reality. I'm okay granting that. Here's your problem, though. You added on that you know corresponds to reality. Okay, so now we know that it corresponds to reality, but how do we know that we know it corresponds to reality? Okay, we have to have another way to justify that. Okay, but then how do we know that we know that we know? Now you have devolved into an infinite regress. You don't need to know that you know in order to possess knowledge. Otherwise, it becomes a vicious infinite regress.
That's exactly my criticism. But you're invoking
because
some other,
no.
Hold on.
Atheist does not need. The atheist does not need to know. No. The atheist does not need. No. Listen to RaSol.
You're invoking some other. You're invoking some other knowledge claim that I'm not interested in. Right?
No, I am showing the logical conclusion of your.
If you can believe something is true, but it doesn't actually align with reality, that's fine. If you want to make
here's the thing.
You can say, hey, I feel justified in believing just because my worldview makes sense and it's reasonable. It doesn't escape the trilemma, right? That's fine. If you
here's my problem. I have no problem with the trilemma.
Right?
I have no problem with the trilemma.
If you want to say, hey, the atheist is justified just because of their seemings, I just don't think that form of justification is something that I'm interested in. Right?
Here's your problem, RaSol.
When I'm talking about justification, I'm saying that something that bridges the mental to the physical, well, not even physical. The bridges the mental to reality. That corresponds to reality. So you need to have that bridge. The atheists will not have that bridge because it's autonomous epistemology. They can't have that bridge. They're making blind assertions. They cannot justify their knowledge claims. It's just
that's why I was asking, can they know that you exist? Can they know that you exist? And you refuse to answer.
They can claim that I exist, but I don't think they can make a definitive claim that I do exist.
So now you are arguing that every single atheist is bare. So let me ask you this: can they know that they exist?
That's something that they would have to prove, and I don't think they could.
So you deny the cogito. You deny the cogito ergo sum.
Yeah, like if you're gonna make a claim like I exist, you would have to justify that.
And what you say?
I think therefore I am is the.
Why would I grant that? Why would I grant? Yeah, maybe you can say that you have justification to believe that you exist, but if you're making a claim, you're trying to convince me that you exist. You would have to have some other form of justification.
Your whole argument is that the atheist has no way to ground knowledge, and I showed you the cogito ergo sum is a way for them to start that process, which
I
you
wouldn't
acknowledge
grant that,
that they would be
I
able
wouldn't
to
grant that.
grant it for them. Oh, so then they can't use the cogito ergo sum to prove that to themselves.
Russell.
So they are denying cogito.
Not under the atheist worldview. No, not under the atheist worldview.
So you deny the cogito?
Under the theistic
No.
worldview,
The
but under the atheist worldview,
the cogito
I wouldn't
is
grant that.
worldview independent. It doesn't matter what worldview you come in. It is true regardless of worldview.
It goes into a deeper argument, right? As to what
That's
would
the
make
start of the argument,
coherence-
sure.
No, hold on. It goes into a deeper argument to what allows for coherency to even emerge, right? The atheist will make some kind of claim that it's just like a
If there is no coherence at the beginning, then the
theist would
cogito
argue
is
that there's
false.
some kind of some like prior like necessary prior conditions that would have to exist for coherency to even emerge as a property.
In order for the cogito to make sense to justify the further conclusions that get to God, as you're alluding to, there needs to be coherence within. There needs to be coherence at the very beginning. No,
the atheist is making a brute assertion without having any justification of how.
According to Godel,
grounding this coherent.
Russell, can I ask you a question?
Property.
I just butt in for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you rational?
Yeah, I am.
Is it rational to interact with a phantasm?
I don't know what a phantasm is.
Just an imaginary thing that you can't justify, like a schizophrenic vision or something.
No, it wouldn't be rational if I knew.
Are you interacting with Catholic thinker?
No, but the worldview is saying that we do have knowledge.
No,
and knowledge is only possible through God.
Then
you're not interacting with Catholic thinker right now.
I'm saying that the God worldview, because we do have knowledge.
Why can't you answer a question?
Because
if God gave you the hearing faculties and like gave you truth tracking capabilities, we should expect you to be able to answer a question like, "Hey,
yeah,
if
we can't justify our existence, we're not in some consensus existence
this
with
is the
you.
Crux.
Then you are deeply irrational."
This is the crux of the argument,
you had
right?
a 2-hour argument with.
I don't even know if you know what an argument is. How do you know what crux?
This is the crux of the argument, right?
You actually tell us what an argument is. You haven't been able to explain how your argument's valid. You haven't been able to
I know you guys.
Mean by justification. What happened to not interrupting each other? What happened to not interrupting each other?
You're super correct, Russell. This is the crux of the argument.
I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish your sentence. Go ahead.
We're discussing what reality is, right?
I'm charitable. Go ahead and finish your sentence. Go ahead.
So none of us
thank you, Your Highness. Now, let's say there's some crux to the argument. Can you explain what an argument is?
An argument is a set of premises that lead to a conclusion.
Okay. And for that conclusion to follow, has to follow a valid inference rule, and all the premises have to be true, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Cool. So you should be able to show us how your initial argument was valid, correct?
Well,
it's a yes or no question.
Yeah, I would, but I'm not the one. I'm claiming that my argument.
Come on, Ross.
My argument is valid. Just because
you've been doing this for years now.
My argument is valid, right?
Ian's been over with you.
I'll let you speak.
Your arguments have always been.
I'll let you speak. Can you give me the courtesy of actually answering your question?
Yeah, I would like an answer. Can you explain how your argument is valid?
Go ahead. I don't grant that my argument isn't valid. So in order for you to claim, in order for me to show me.
Oh, okay. Do you want to scroll back up to where? Hey, Ian, can you re-render the critique
for which one?
For RaSol's argument.
Yeah, it's invalid.
Yeah. Can you show
that's a claim? Justify, please.
Copy paste the inference rule he thought he was using, or you put out.
Yeah. Let me. I have to scroll back through. I'm probably gonna have to scroll through too many messages. Russell, how about you just
Yo, hold
save
on.
us some
I'm
time?
scrolling. Hold on. I'm scrolling through this. The guy that got dog walked by sticks is talking shit in the argument. That's what the fuck? No way, bro.
Do you just want to put the inference rule inside chat really quick,
Bro,
Russell?
you're in the big chair. Ignore chat.
Hold on. The guy that got dog walked by sticks is talking shit. A fellow theist. Holy fuck. I can't. Let me go
Oh
through
yeah,
these
anything but the
comment
inference rule.
sections really quick. This is what a moron, dude. The guy's a fucking idiot, and he's actually critiquing my argument as if it's not a good argument. What the fuck?
Okay, you could go
me
hash that
see.
out with him after you render the inference rule. I mean, it should be easy, right? You've been
Hold
doing
on,
this
let
for
me
so
go through
long.
these.
You're such a
Let me go
high-tier
through these
debater.
comments. Let me go through these comments. This is crazy. Okay,
Yeah, anything to run
well,
away
most
from, like,
most of the
actually
people here
showing
are
how you can argue.
I
most
can't believe
people
you're
here
even
are
reading
like
chat. Why would you do that?
most people here are atheists, so I expect the pushback, but I
I'm
don't
not.
expect like low tier theists like this lukewarm motherfucker next to me.
Hold on. Russell, do we need to jiggle the keys? Focus. Inference rule, please.
Hold on. I'm just scrolling through
Inference rule, please. How long are you gonna have to have us hold for?
Ian,
You've dodged
did
the
you say
question
that
time and time again. Let's go.
Ian,
Let's
did you
go.
say
Chop,
that?
chop, guy. Where's the inference rule?
Hold on. Ian, did
You're
you say
such a master
that
debater. The inference rule should be right off your head. You've been doing this for years. J. Mike has talked to you. All the Dark Doggins has talked
Dude,
to you. Like, even Dark
J.
Daddy
Mike
should have
is
been able to tell you what an inference rule is.
J.
Come
Mike
on.
is a low tier. J. Mike is a low tier. What are you talking about?
J. Mike is a low tier after he got
Yes.
you to wow.
What
Wow.
what
How
did
many
he
times
get me on?
he got what was it? He got you to say that like God's existence is a brute of fact. Come on now. You got fucking dog walked. You get dog walked every time you talk to an atheist. You can't
What did J. Mike do?
If God, he got you to admit that God's existence is a brute fact. It's on the it's recorded.
That's not true.
Oh,
so I
it's not
adjusted
true.
my position.
Hey,
because
hey,
I
if
said,
you believe in God, is it okay to lie like that? Would we have video fucking evidence of you making it?
Hold on. Me and J. Mike have been having conversations for a while already, right? And like one of the things that when I first started, I wasn't familiar with a lot of philosophical terms, right? And but I felt that making necessity claim is kind of like begging the question, so I kind of didn't like to do that. But then I realized that you can make a necessity claim without begging the question by giving a substantive argument as to why that necessity claim
all right. So
follows.
now that you know how to make substantive argument, you should be able to give us the valid inference rule. So go ahead and give us the valid
evolving
inference rule.
as a person isn't a bad thing, right? So the fact that J. Mike pointed out some kind of like lack of knowledge in my philosophical understanding of
Preston.
stuff, right?
Thanks, Preston. Hey, monkeyboy, or not monkeyboy. My apologies, monkeyboy. Russell,
Russell, do you think
hey, monkeyboy, can you get that low tier?
Do you think Russell? Do you think that's a valid argument?
Can you get that low tier?
Hey, Russell, focus. Hey, over here, boy. Hey, over here, boy. In the chat, the guy that got validity rule is in the chat. Tell us if this is the valid validity rule. Come on.
The guy that got dog walked by a stick. Can you let him up, please?
You got somebody right in front of you.
You're talking about theosophical?
Yeah.
He's not even requesting.
But he's talking shit in the comments, and he's like a fellow theist, so I would love for him to come up here. He's saying that Ian's like high tier.
Why
like,
would you talk to him when you've got one right here that is willing to engage with you directly that you ran from?
Because he didn't give any argumentation that defeats the actual worldview. He just
thank you for admitting that I did.
He's just presupposing that the non-God worldview can produce coherency, which I would need an argument for that.
Oh, I gave you.
Well, I mean, I kind of did, and you ran from it, and now you're saying you want to engage with someone that didn't provide it, which kind of implies that I did provide that justification that destroyed your argument.
Okay, run it again. How did you destroy my argument? Go ahead.
So you weren't listening the whole time.
You didn't provide a defeated to my argument.
Hey, maybe if you pray for it, God will provide you the revelation to understand his argument. So why don't you go ahead and pray real quick, and maybe he'll remind you what the argument is.
I'm just going to point out this whole conversation, you've been turning down anybody that asked you to repeat yourself. And it's been one of your only defenses.
Yeah, what happened to that charity, RaSol? It seems to be lacking when it comes to when other people ask questions.
I could have sworn this guy went on like a big like ramble about how the job of the Christian is to demonstrate like the falsity of the atheist worldview, and then he can't explain how God gives knowledge.
Well, remember, this is my punishment to you, Ian, because you're being such bad faith. I'm not going to render my argument.
Sure. Well, do you want to render it to somebody else?
Yeah, once I debate this further on other lives, yeah.
Why would we let you move on? You haven't
once
even
you
addressed
debate
the
further, you'll debate further.
Do you even know how to debate? Doesn't even seem like you can render an argument. If you can't render an argument, how can we know you can make a justified?
Yeah, I presented a defeater to the atheist worldview. Yes.
And how do you know that's a defeater? Because it seems like you can't even actually make a valid inference to what would and would not be a defeater.
It's just a natural entailment as to what the atheistic worldview, the commitments that they make.
And in order for that to be a justified claim, you would actually have to make a valid inference, correct?
It's just a natural inference, correct? It's a natural entailment to the commitment of the atheistic worldview.
Hey, what's the question I just asked you? What's the question I just asked you?
I don't grant that my argument is invalid. I don't grant that it's not valid.
I just asked you.
I don't grant that my argument isn't valid. I don't.
So your question.
We'll never know if it's valid.
I just asked you. The question.
I don't grant that it's not valid.
Make a valid inference.
Wait, RaSol, what even is the inference rule?
No. Like I'm just saying that just because you say it's not valid,
what's the inference rule that the argument follows?
Like RaSol, this should be easy for like a debate boss like you. What's the inference rule?
You literally said that you put it into a validity checker.
You said you prepared for this. You worked so hard on this. Like, you worked so hard, it should be easy. You should ace this question. What is the inference rule?
I need you guys to...
I feel like if you're
provide a defeater.
Hey, what's the question?
I need you guys to provide a defeater.
Yeah, the defeater is when the defeater is you wouldn't be able to understand the defeater because you don't understand how to make an argument. So you're unable.
I just need you guys.
You're unable to
provide
actually link two premises together into a conclusion.
To a Agrippa's trilemma, right?
You don't even know how to get to Agrippa's trilemma.
That's not.
We know
that
the Agrippa's trilemma is.
We know you know what Agrippa's trilemma is. You just don't know how to get there. You just don't know how to get there, buddy.
All victims of the three legs of this trilemma, right?
Wait, but in order
to be able to escape Agrippa's trilemma, you would have to give a refutation.
So are you gonna actually answer a question here, buddy, or just gonna restate Agrippa's trilemma like
I feel like this is all going over your head, man.
And if you can't do that, it's just a concession. I'll just take this as a concession.
Yeah, we'll take your concession. Are you conceding that you have no idea how to make a valid inference?
Can you justify knowledge claims? Go ahead.
What do you mean? You can't.
I tried to provide that justification to you, and you ignored it, and you dodged and ran and attacked my character. You attacked the fact that people like me and are willing to hear me out, as if that's some negative.
I'm justified in attacking your character.
No, you're not justified.
Because you're a lukewarm Christian, right?
Hey, that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with my claim.
If I was asking somebody who was colorblind to identify the red card and they couldn't see red, would it be useful to ask them to identify the red card?
Hold on, Catholic thinker. How did you think you escaped the trilemma?
Wait,
because
I asked
the thing with the trilemma is about brute contingencies. And we even have in math and other logical systems, you have what's called axioms. You also have what's called Gödel's incompleteness theorem, which points out that in any truth system, you're going to have facts that we know are true that are unprovably unprovable, yet we still know that they are true. And you also so right there you have, lo and behold, an ultimate grounding of truth within that is not the same as God. So
you understand the problem with the analytic and synthetic truth? Do you understand? Do you understand? You just made a huge blunder here, right?
I mean, the fact that you are dodging and trying to hide behind terminology that I doubt you know anything on. But here's the thing.
Yeah, hold on. I just pointed something out. Just because you claim something is analytically true, right? It doesn't escape because you're making this whole notion, because let's say something like numbers, right? Somebody can say it's not actually true, like the number 2, right? But it would invoke some kind of like, it would invoke like a further explanation of the worldview, right? If you hold to the fact that like numbers are real or numbers are abstract truth, right? It would invoke like something like Platonism, and it would just go into a whole different direction, right?
So they can know something about an analytical truth, and that's fine, because I thought you claimed that the atheist is purely unable under any circumstances to ground any knowledge whatsoever. Yet now you're saying, well, yeah, they can in analytical truths that have nothing to do with worldview, that are self-contained.
You're lost. You're lost.
No, that is exactly what you said when I pointed out the cogito ergo sum, which is an analytical self-contained truth. Yeah. You said, no, they can't do that.
I wouldn't grant that just because you have a concept, therefore that concept is real, right? This is why my argument is so powerful, because I don't.
Because here's the thing.
Hold on. I was mid-sentence. Hold on. I was mid-sentence.
You interrupted me all the time.
I never made the claim. I never made the claim that because I described God, therefore He's real.
I never said you did either.
This is begging the question, right?
I never said you did either.
You know what begging the question is, RaSol?
Shut the fuck up, dude. Like your low-tier questions are just frustrating. Shut the fuck up.
I'd rather be low-tier than no-tier, like RaSol. You realize you're always brought up here, so you can make a locale. You get the clicks, buddy, because you're so bad.
You know what begging the question is? You know what begging the dude? Shut the fuck up, dude. Like
you don't know because you can't even answer the question.
Questions, right? Like it's just beneath me to like engage with people like you, because you're not even tracking the fucking argument that I'm putting forth.
You can't. You didn't even make an argument because your argument is invalid.
Just because somebody made argument invoke some kind of concept, right? It doesn't necessitate that concept is real or exists in reality, right? This is just a huge leap.
You tried to argue, right?
I mean, that's a hole in your argument.
No, it's not. It's not.
And it can still be true.
Yeah,
and we can still know it.
Your argument to me seems to be something like
you're engaging with another definition of truth that I just didn't invoke.
Well,
a Catholic thinker, and this is what frustrates me about you. Like,
no,
you don't
said
listen.
Knowledge.
I mean,
knowledge. You said knowledge.
You're not engaging with the actual argument. I defined the terms prior to the debate for this very reason, because you're gonna get some kind of other notion of knowledge or other notion of truth that I don't care to engage with.
So here's the thing. I wasn't talking about truth. I was talking about knowledge. And when you were saying, yeah, well, you can know analytical truths within their system, you used the term right there, and I am using it right back. And now you're saying, no, it doesn't count because it's not real. But the thing is that 2 + 2 = 4 is real. It might not be materially real, but it is real. It is analytically true. It corresponds to reality and is a statement that corresponds to reality, even though it is self-contained and analytically true. You admitted that someone can have analytical knowledge, which means that,
there's
according to your definition,
you understand that there's pushback on this very view that you're invoking.
Well, this is the one that you gave, that you said you held. So the fact that other people hold it or have a different view is irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
It is relevant. It is relevant because there's competing views that you would have to disprove.
That's on you. This is your definition that you brought up.
No, you're invoking some kind of you're the one that's saying that, hey, my claim is true because I hold numbers to be real, or because they exist in this
no, you said that one can have knowledge of analytical truths. And I defined the term. And I was going off on.
If you have some kind of you're lost. You're lost. You're not engaging with the term that I defined, right? If you have some other notion of knowledge that is not engaging with the notion of knowledge that I brought forth, I'm just not interested in this conversation.
I was using your definition, is what I said. You yourself said that someone can have knowledge of analytical truths. And so I was using that definition.
That's not the definition.
That is what it might not have matched the definition you said, but that is what you said. That is what you said.
I'm gonna take this W. I'm gonna post some of the monkeyboy, if you can. Well, it's gonna be on YouTube. So I'm gonna use some of the clips. So I'm gonna put them on my channel.
So you're not gonna tell us
this W.
You're You're not going to explain how your argument's valid?
He's never going to
run like that?
clarifying.
So,
I'm exhausted.
Clear, you gave an invalid argument that you can't actually
I gave
defend.
People the opportunity to come up here.
To defend it. It's completely invalid. And you can't tell us how it is valid if we're wrong. So how can we give you justification?
They weren't able to do
so. To recognize a valid argument.
Catholic
I gave you an argument. Red is red. Blue is blue. God doesn't exist. Hey, RaSol, I need you to my argument.
Of my argument.
Red is red.
Because he wasn't even engaging with the definition that I was using. So, Monkeyboy,
God doesn't exist. Red is
thank
red.
you for the time.
Blue. God doesn't exist. Can you
Monkeyboy, thank you for
red is red.
For the time.
Wow,
I'm gonna drop. Thank you.
Hey, RaSol, before you go,
what a loser.
Let me ask you a question. You got time for one question, buddy?
This is the last question, guys. After this, I'm gonna drop.
Why is it important to your argument that a worldview bypass the trilemma?
Because if you can't bypass the trilemma, you can't make claims about reality.
Okay. So, given that, why, do you think that you win because you're willing to hypothesize? You're just defining your God as something that can bypass the trilemma.
Yeah, it's just a conceptual schema that we can.
You're just saying surely something we can analyze. Be able to.
No, it's not. It's just like the commitments that are being put forth when we invoke each other's worldview, or a more fundamental thing would be conceptual schema, right? It's just something that each worldview will have to be have a robust criticism, or a robust just digging at it and try to see where it falls apart and where it holds. Just the God worldview, the way that God is defined, is just a worldview that sidesteps the trilemma. It's just a natural entailment of the worldview.
But sidestepping the trilemma is only a part of the definition, right? You define God as more than just a being that sidesteps the trilemma, right?
Sure. There's a more complex view that we would probably get into. Because what another person can do, they can say, "Hey, I have a God worldview that also sidesteps the trilemma, right?" Okay. Like a Muslim,
for the record,
that would be like another worldview comparison that we would have to go down. But thank you guys. Thank you so much for.
I don't think it's important to bypass the trilemma, but
it was fun to cook, Ian. It was fun to make you guys crash out. Thank you so much, Monkeyboy. You guys have a good.
If you were doing it on purpose, you'd be a master of performance art.
All right. Well,
what's up, Monkey?
I wonder if he'll ever get better.
Well, yeah,
and meander back to the philosophical underpinnings, because their whole thing is just to make it take as long as possible to get to their actual God.
There's this Free the Bloke guy who's challenging Ian. I'm gonna close the stage in a couple minutes.
No, I gotta head out. I gotta make dinner.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Yeah, so you can just finish. I'll give it 5 more minutes and closing stage. Thanks everyone for coming, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us up.
Been fun.
Yeah, thanks for letting me up.
All right. Have a good one, y'all. Again, anticipate my new video tomorrow. If you haven't already, go to my newest video from a couple of days ago. Give that a like, comment, and use the hype feature. And also, you could check out my recent debate with Eli Nix, a really silly presup. He couldn't render a valid argument for almost an hour. I'm not even joking. It was literally the entire debate was him trying to give a valid argument. Then he said stuff about he assumed normativity of logic. He conflated metaphysics and logic. He didn't understand the basics of logic. So that's a pretty interesting debate too. So I actually have 2 videos, recent videos, that are roughly an hour long, humiliating precepts. So you can watch those. Pretty much the same thing here. This was almost 2 hours, in fact. So check out my new content. Anticipate tomorrow, and thanks. Peace.